There she is.
Okay.
Okay.
Let her rip, Chip.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. I would like to start with my tactical plan for 2025 with my first goal, community events. Strategic plan item to identify impactful events that can foster positive community growth, promote a pro-growth environment, and have a significant economic impact. By utilizing the below steps to achieve our goal, we have been able to successfully host summer concert series called Under a Mountain Sky. That series was about 14 shows. A few of them were canceled due to the fire, but we had a bunch of different entertainers from all around the country that would come in and perform and bring in the opportunity to bring the community together. And a lot of you had a chance to go out there and see them, and I thought it was just a great event for people to bring their dogs out, their kids, their grandkids, their family, and it turned out to be pretty successful. We got to a point before the fire where we were around 300 people coming, and so for the investment we had, and it turned out to be a good return. From everybody that we've talked to, says it's pretty successful with the community and with the locals. Plus, we're getting a lot of people who are in town just coming into the event and getting a chance to see some cool music.
Eddie, how was that subsidized? Was that?
It was through,
Yep.
Councilor Corey, it was through lodger's tax.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yes. And it was right around 43,000 we total cost with that involved. So for 14 shows, it worked out pretty good. And these were entertainers that were had recording contracts that were doing, on tour, and they were able to work with Bradshaw and Phil to get them on routing and just have a really good experience.
Possibility of doing a bigger event with, what's that one lady, what's the name of that big event she puts on?
Imaginarium, the Pure Imagine Festival. That one's out of Arizona, Prescott, Arizona, I believe. And the thing is that we had a meeting with her in lodger's tax, and unfortunately, she was saying a certain kind of number that she was looking for.
Pretty high.
And then she came in and doubled that number when we had the lodger's tax meeting with her.
Oh, wow.
So she was we were talking 150 maybe type of thing would be our investment. And then she goes, maybe I need 300,000 or 400,000. And so that kind of ended that conversation.
Yeah.
With that.
Speaking of lodger's tax, following the fire, have they kind of reassessed priorities?
Yeah, Councilmember Corey, they're going through it now. We're looking at what this next cycle looks like as far as, because we're down 50% on lodger's tax, and we're pretty affected by it. So we're looking at what that looks like moving forward for grants and what grants we'll be giving. So we have to really see where we're going to end up here if we start bouncing back, because the 30-day long-term clause has really affected the lodger's tax in a big way. So we're hoping that things will start changing where we can start getting back some more lodger's tax funds to rebuild that.
And as it relates to the musical events,
Yep.
Do you work with Charles Santilli at all? I mean, is there any opportunity to maybe piggyback off what Spencer's doing?
Yeah, I've talked to Charles many times about different things, and they're kind of doing their own kind of separate thing. They're doing a lot of cover bands now and different kind of projects like that, or events that specific for their venues. So I've talked with him a few times, been out there and met with him, and would be open to any kind of partnerships, and he's aware of that. Yeah.
I just love those because it was a lot of our residents. And I guess maybe, especially after the fire, it brought a lot of us back together.
Yes.
And I don't know, it was just, whenever we would go, it was just such a great relaxing time with people that you know,
Yeah.
and it was nice.
What was so nice about it is after the fires, as a community event, it was also like a healing process for a lot of people, I think. So, to be able to connect with people and talk about things. And so, I'm already talking with Phil and Bradshaw about doing a budget, about what this upcoming summer looks like, and they're already working on it. So, and just to see where their budget lands at, and hopefully it's something that we can do and
Sure.
move forward with it.
And even before the fires, it was on weekdays. We'd have a Thursday or whatever, so
Yeah.
there was a lot of the local people just coming out and hanging out
Yeah.
before they had to go to work on the weekends.
Oh,
so.
absolutely. It was great.
We're working our best to make sure that it's every Friday so it's consistent. And if we have something happening in Wingfield Park, then establishing, a secondary place that will be known. If it's not there at Wingfield, it'll be, someplace else. So I'm working with Matt and his team on that right now. So, yeah. Any other questions in regards to community events? Goal number 2, music events. To work towards bringing in musical groups that complement the community. So we had a really great event that popped up, and the mayor gave Matt and me a task to put together a Chuck Wagon event within a few weeks, and we did it, and it turned out great. And we had a couple thousand people show up for that event, and we were able to use our pool of local talent to have a concert, and we put on this concert in Wingfield Park, and it was a whole day of music, and it was something where it cost us $10,000 to do the stage, the sound, the bands, and all the production and everything. And it was still a good turnout. And it's showing us that we don't always have to have like a big name artist that we're paying $60,000, $80,000 for the whole event. We can use our own local talent or regional talent to bring in people. And
Well, and y'all used the talent that we had previously booked that we couldn't use during the fire, and then you had like the Dirtbags, and you had
Yeah.
Palmer, and
Palmer.
you had different ones in there
Yeah.
that were just fantastic.
yeah, and they came in, rocked it, and everyone had a good time, and it was just a good concert event. So, I'm working with promoters. I'm seeing if we can, instead of us flipping the bill for things, having promoters come in, use our facility as our venue, and give them opportunities to use our venues and not have to pay for it, and then be able to bring in artists and be a promoter where they are the ones who are responsible for covering it versus the village flipping the bill.
Speaking
for
of that, remember the Chevron lady there that had the big budget? She's the one that came in. I cannot find her contact information. I'm gonna have to go through the Chuck Wagon gang list when you guys have it. 'Cause they want to participate in village activities. They're the big
Oh, yeah.
sponsors at
Yeah.
the fair, the
Yep.
state fair.
Yes, yeah, I remember her, yeah.
They would be a good partner, and they said they wanted to help us out.
We would love to bring that back again. I think that event was great, and if we can do something with them, we had a lot of good conversations with them, and hopefully we can do that again for the summer, because I think that could be, it has a potential to be like an annual event, possibly, I think, because we
King
had,
would like to do that. Also, I know we need to get really in the Track's hip pocket. I've already gotten a bunch of phone calls about a Pat Green concert
okay,
that's coming before Memorial Day, and I asked Rick yesterday, and he said, yeah, we're trying to work on it, but somehow it's already out, and they haven't even got
What's the venue?
at the track.
Where at the track, just in the grandstand?
Yep, and so, but they haven't signed it, but yet people are already calling
Wow.
and wanting tickets, and I said, I don't even know of a Pat Green concert, and
Yeah.
then I hung the phone up, and Rick said, well, we're working on getting him here,
okay,
and they said, we have him, we just gotta, they're still trying to close the deal on getting the track done.
wow, okay.
That's what's holding all that up.
I need to connect with them more, because I know they're working on some different concerts and stuff. Just want to align with them so that way we have no overlapping with stuff with
And I
them.
want you to reach out to Richie Hood too, because they're working on some stuff,
Okay,
and we just need to follow up, because there's some cool stuff they're working on.
okay, Cool. That's
Richie
great.
Hood is?
Richie Hood, some of his contacts in the United States and around,
No, that'd be good.
doing a fundraiser event with some pretty well-known stars.
I would love to bring as it permits, as far as financially, once we get lodger's tax at a point where it's back, looking at working with different promoters and, using resources that I have and relations that I have with booking agents to look at maybe doing a festival. Because I know we had the lady come in from Pure Imaginarium, I think is what it was
Something
called.
like
Yeah,
that.
something like that, festival. And a lot of the artists that she was working with was I'm friends with some of those booking agents. And so, I was calling them up and they're like, yeah, we can get you a Foreigner, we can get you Survivor and get you this and that.
They're all older and dirty.
They're all, yeah. But I
You
mean,
sound like
Deep
Tom.
Purple.
yeah.
Love Deep Purple.
Do they get cheaper over time?
Yeah, they do get cheaper, but you only get one of them.
Yeah, but they
There's
sound,
only one original.
it doesn't matter that they still sound good.
But doing like a festival where it's alternative music, it's country, it's rock and roll, it's a bit of jazz.
Jazz, yeah.
It's a mixture of stuff. So that way when you come to it, you go, oh, that reggae band was really cool. Oh, I like that country artist. And I like, it's just something like that where we can put together like a, I don't know, just something, I don't know, come up with some cool name for it and develop it. But we have the capabilities to do it. Just want to make sure the funding's in place and that it's financially going to be
Yeah.
a good thing for us to get involved with. But that's something I'm looking at down the road. Just want to make sure we're back with lodger's tax and, solid again with all that. Any questions on music?
This looks like my office or like Rick's office out the track. That's what they're looking for. We can do that.
We can do that? All
They
right.
just texted it to me.
They're going to come in on Friday to kind
This
of,
Friday?
yeah, you going to be around Friday?
Yes, unless I'm not.
Gotcha.
And I'll be in Santa Fe or whatever, but yeah, we can do that.
So talking about movies, transitioning to,
You're welcome for the segue.
thank you for the segue, Mayor. Going to goal number 3, film events. So work as, strategic plan item would be to work as a film liaison for the Village of Rito. So I have, to give you a heads up, I have recently just I've completed my certification for being a film liaison with the Association of Film Commissioners International. So I'm an official film liaison for the film commissioners.
So what does that mean?
It means that I have the ability to work for the state and pitch the village and do all those things. And it just, like when we have a big movie coming in, and it's just known. So that way they know I've done the training and had the certification and gone through the process to know have a clue what I'm doing with it and
Right.
stuff. Yeah. So that's something that happened recently, which is pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So with the movies, so it's pretty amazing because when I first started, we had an opportunity come in that presented us the ability to have one of the biggest movies being made in the world, $200 million Matthew McConaughey movie, and it was literally going to go to Georgia, and thankfully the mayor and all the support from all counselors gave us the ability to have the producer, Greg Goodman, come in. And I'll never forget, we're sitting in the office, and Greg Goodman and the assistant director and Clay was in there, the guy from the location manager, and we're sitting there and we're watching Greg kind of looking around. I could see he was still trying to make a decision. Is it Ruidoso or is it Georgia? And I remember him looking out your window out into the forest. And he just looks over and goes, Ruidoso, we're doing it here. Just like that. And that's how it all happened. And it was just the thing, though, is that, I had experience, or I used to date a girl that lived in Paradise, California. So I knew Paradise pretty well. And so I was able to tell him that going to Georgia was not the right fit and that we were a better match for this movie. So luckily it all came together, and that movie opened up a lot of doors. It put us on the map for being able to, do movies and productions and work in the film industry. And since then, we've had a bunch of things happen. And just talking to my friends who work in studios in LA and stuff, and even talking with producers that we've met with on this movie coming up called Dead Letters, LA is in a bad spot right now for films. So studios are holding back on production. Things are changing. They're looking for alternative places to do production. I think that right now, because when we were meeting with Juliet from the film, she goes, California's dead, Georgia's dead. It's kind of everyone's burned
They're
out.
charging for everything. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got so much business, they're really expensive.
Yeah, Georgia's dead, and everyone's coming to New Mexico.
Or Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. So believe this or not, a lot of movies are being shipped over to Bulgaria right now. Bulgaria invested a ton of money building a studio that rivals Universal Studios or Warner Brothers. They literally have a New York skyline. They have, for example, most of the Expendable movies, the Avenger movies, all of them are being filmed in Bulgaria because they don't have union strikes, they don't have writer strikes, they don't have all the different things that are holding up productions, and the cost is at a fraction. So we're battling, Bulgaria right now, and their studio is amazing, and you see pictures of it, you would think you're walking in a New York street, or you're thinking walking in Paris. They have like villages that would be Middle Eastern or Spanish, or I think the last Rambo movie he was supposed to be in Arizona was actually in Bulgaria, and they're using parts of Bulgaria for parts of Juarez. It's just random how they can dress an area up to make it look like something. So when you're looking at like a $100 million movie and you can shave half of that cost off because labor, costs, everything. Daniel Cummings done movies in Bulgaria. Wes has done movies. These are the guys we work with on the movies and stuff. They've done movies in Bulgaria, and we're actually working on one right now. I can't say who it is, but it's a big movie star. And it's going to probably, I know, I'm sorry, Susan. I'm sorry, Susan. Sorry. As soon as we can release it, I'll let y'all know. But they're getting pretty close to it. They're literally, this is going to be, I think it was a $15 million movie is what they're saying, Mayor?
She said 15, I thought.
Yeah, it's a $15 million movie be coming here, but they're going to do 2 weeks in Ruidoso and the rest of it in Bulgaria, just because of the cost savings in it.
That's amazing.
So we have a 40% tax credit, which makes it a really good incentive, and we're working with people who are local actors, who are people working in production, and the producers and directors we've been working with in our movies to really help build this as a filming community, and hopefully get some series in here from Netflix or something where it creates a lot of jobs, it brings in a lot of larger tax revenue and different things like that. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on at the movies. Like I was saying, we have the Dead Letters movie coming up. We have another Hallmark movie coming up in May with Ross Marks. We have the Ruidoso docuseries with Daniel Cummings, and that'll be something that would probably be something that would, if you're open to it, would probably want to be an interview with probably every one of you, I would think, if you were open to that. And that's something that's,
Daniel's donating his time and his cameras,
yeah.
Yeah.
all of that.
He's doing a 5-episode docuseries, like professionally done, for $59,000.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
Yeah.
Eddie, the gentleman from Xterra was, when the
Yeah.
interaction with the gentleman that wants to do the
Yeah.
docuseries?
Yep.
Yep.
They were looking at what they could do to
Yep.
just say enhance the project and all that, and
Yeah.
combine the two.
Extend the shelf
possibly.
life and,
Yep.
So, anything moving on that?
Yeah, they have. I've put them together. They've had conversations, Steve Andrus and Daniel Cummings, and so they're going to work together on it, on doing some stuff because.
Who's Daniel Cummings?
he's
I apologize.
a film director that has shot several movies here in town. He just finished up Santa.
He did, he did the Christmas classic.
Christmas classic.
He did the Christmas classic movie. He did the Fight or Flight. Remember when?
Fight or Flight with Michael White and No Show Dolph Lundgren.
No Show, Dolph Lundgren and Michael J. White. Yeah.
Michael J. White.
Michael J. White, and that was done over in Ruidoso. Most of you went there, I think, at Dandy
Yeah.
Cabins. Did you guys?
Yeah, that
Andy
was
Cabins up in
Did
the
you go
back.
there,
That was-
Counselor Corey?
No, you were.
No, I got invited, but I heard Dolph wasn't gonna show.
Yeah, so
Oh, my gosh.
but that's who Daniel is, and, you know, these other folks said, hey, let me know what we can do, and so one of the things is we're concerned about is, don't forget about his shelf life,
Yeah,
and then, so we've been in talking to him a long time, and I said, you know, if we could do something that showed not just the fire, the floods, but the aftermath, the red tape, that it could be kind of a playbook that other communities could go through to say, your state needs to do this,
yeah,
So he's picked it up and he's got really, you can tell the difference between a guy like me and a guy like him. He's got really good vision
Yeah.
on these type of things.
yeah, he's,
And he pitched it. It was going to do originally a 7-part. And was it Netflix or one of them came back and said, hey, how about doing a 5-part that could be condensed into one movie?
yeah, like a limited condensed series of 5 episodes. So I think what will happen is once it's done, he said he would then look at what would be the best avenue. I mean, we could put it out on YouTube and it'll just be a video on YouTube, or if it gets, you know, like if he enters it into the film festival and say Paramount picks it up or Netflix picks it up, and now it becomes part of that, then any proceeds that would come from that, the sale of that project, would go directly to the support of the Lincoln County Fund.
Yep.
So that way we'd be able to
Wonderful.
bring that money back to people who are affected. So, and Daniel's waiving his fees. He's just doing it
He's
'cause-
been really good and
yeah,
with his approach on this and been very helpful. And Daniel is what on the state movie? What?
So as a film liaison, Daniel is he oversees all the film liaisons. So he works with the state and kind of oversees all of them. And so thankfully we have a good relationship with him. He's been very supportive and
Yeah,
helping us, definitely. So,
He's a really good guy.
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Just
Go ahead.
think since Matthew McConaughey was here with all of his big movie.
Yeah.
Look at, I mean, we like just catapulted him to all of those.
All those
license-
commercials and
What are you eating, Jerry?
Jerry. And,
Yeah, he's
oh, Ryan's Jerry. Yeah, he's gotten overexposed. I can't
He
even
is.
stand
he's everywhere.
Pretty good though.
Yeah.
He's pretty cute, yeah.
And you ought to listen to his books on Audible, Green Lights. It is really funny. He talks fast. It's very clever. Smart guy.
Yeah. He has not only the Lost Bus movie, he has a couple other movies coming out too. So I think 2025 will be a big year for him with movies coming out and stuff.
Yeah, he's
He's going to be everywhere.
when we talked to him, he was in between filming movies and
Yep.
everything. And
We literally, he was making a movie in LA, called on his lunch break and called the mayor to say, how can I help?
yeah,
Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
yeah, it was.
Yeah. Any other questions in regards to movies? Nope. Moving along to goal.
Just touch 1 minute.
Yep.
You have a whole list of people that want to work in the movies, locations that you've scouted.
Yes,
Just like the text I'm getting on, you know, you have an office like this. And, you know, so he's very instrumental in getting that, but bringing it into the community where people that want to work in the industry have an opportunity to. So Eddie's doing a lot more than just wine and dining these folks. He's and meeting them
Where
here.
do you office, Eddie?
Here.
right behind that door, right over there. But I'm looking at, I think they're moving me to Horton pretty soon, I think. But
What'd you do wrong?
I don't know. I'm the very first office coming in the door there. So, yeah, I guess a lot of foot traffic going by. But it's, I think Horton is where I'm headed to. Yeah.
Oh, that's away from here.
Yeah, I won't get any secret door knocks for you.
Well, the mayor has a secret door knock for me. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to show y'all because I don't want to get turned into HR for that.
I can imagine.
But go ahead, Eddie. I'm sorry. I just want to let you know
Yeah.
that you got a list. You're working with the public
Yeah,
to
there's
include people that want to be in it.
there's a lot. Like when a movie comes in, it's a lot of helping them get locations, getting staff, getting everything lined up. Like right now, this movie's coming in. It's like there's a laundry list. Like the mayor was just telling me, they want to shoot at Billy the Kid Casino. So now it's like a whole process where we got to get them pushed through so they can get the permit to do it in the casino, and then
Gaming Commission.
so there's a lot of things that are behind the scenes going on. Yeah, and the way we be successful is being boots on the ground and doing the work to let them know we got their back here. That's what we did for Lost Bus, and we just continue doing it. So that way we become a film destination, and hopefully we can grow into a thing where it provides another source of revenue and jobs and
Yeah.
some cool stuff.
This new one they're getting ready to shoot in the next 2 weeks will be shot here. Capitan.
Capitan, yep.
Where else?
Maybe in Alamogordo. They got a whole bunch of locations. So what they do is they have a list of all the locations they want to use in the movie, and then we try to patch it all together and find them for them. And then it's just they go, okay, we like that, we don't like that, we don't like that, and then they have to make a decision on it. And it's usually a group of people
Yeah.
making decisions. So it's but we have to move fast now since we're just coming up a few weeks out. So we got to hustle. Yeah.
We're still working on the idea of having an office set up where they have computers, a phone,
Yep.
where they could print stuff off and things of that nature that these different movie people can come in and just move into it for a couple of weeks and then move out and we charge them for it. We
Yeah.
haven't found that place yet.
Yeah.
Is there no room in Horton?
No, not yet.
Well, I have, so if I move to Horton, there's that conference room next to my office. That could be, if it's a small production, if it's like a small little indie movie, like a few of the people working in and out of it could maybe work if it was open. That might be a possibility. That way I'm there with them. If they have questions, I can just,
That'd be a great spot if there's
Yeah.
room.
yeah, that would be
When
good.
we first got Horton from a community development standpoint, I was hoping we could set up an incubator with workspace, lab space, but it didn't come to pass.
Because we didn't think we'd fill this building up.
Yeah.
And now that we got that one already full, it's nuts.
Right. I know, it's, Horton's already filled up already, and so I don't know, where else would you go? I guess build something, I guess, is the next
Learning thing's
step.
got a closet at the convention center that we've had people office in before.
So Eddie, I had a question or comment
Yes.
on the outdoor events, and you may recall I voted against the Ironman and Xterra for a couple of reasons. First was the uncertainty with the fires. Moving ahead, it sounds like we're at least getting our arms around what we can and can't do. But my second concern, and I don't know if I overlooked it, you talked about the payback, and obviously there is payback. I didn't see any numbers or forecasts. Is that something going forward you can incorporate if you're seeking financial help on special events?
Absolutely, Councilmember Corey. We will make sure that you have all the specifics for all council members to make, to have whatever numbers you're requesting. We did economic impacts on it, and so literally with the three, putting all the events together, over the course of the 3 years, it'll be about $100 million economic impact.
Okay, but where is that coming from?
8,000 people coming in, hotels, gas, food over the course of, with the World Championships. I only budgeted for, for 4 days, I think, for the World Championships. It'll probably be more like a week to 2 weeks of people coming in. So I was trying to be a little conservative with the numbers on it, but the impacts on these events,
And the exposure you're going to get on them
it'll be televised to the world.
and the state
Yeah, so
picking up.
giving you guys a heads up with stuff. So Lansing Adams, Secretary of Tourism, and New Mexico True have been working with us, and it looks like we're going to get $1 million grant coming back for these events that will cover a big chunk of it. So I've really got my fingers crossed that we get that cash in to really offset it. And they've been, Lansing Adams have been on all the calls.
Spectacular.
They've been great.
And he's with the state?
He is,
The interim
yeah,
secretary.
yep, absolutely. He's been on the calls with us. He's been on, everything for both Ironman and Xterra.
Been to his office in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
They gave us an additional $125,000 for marketing during the fire or after the fire.
yeah.
And then his staff is really good. What's the main girl's name?
Aaron Ladd.
Erin,
yeah.
yeah, Erin.
Director of marketing, yeah.
And so they've been very instrumental. The governor's high. I text her about once a week, make him full-time. Don't
Yeah.
make him the interim, make him the secretary.
He's been great. He really has. Yeah, I went up to, just a side note, I went up to the tourism day and spent some time with him, and he's excited about Rito, so all the stuff that's going on and things that we're doing, and these events, so I'll go into my next year, outdoor recreation events, goal number 4, to bring outdoor recreation opportunities that best meet the community's needs. So, Xterra World Championships is the premier event for outdoor recreation for mountain biking, trail running, and swimming. It's Olympian athletes competing for $100,000 cash pro purse. It's going to bring a international element to the village. So imagine Rito, so imagine Midtown for 2 weeks, people speaking French, Italian, German, Spanish, all walking around the village, buying stuff, eating, and hanging out, buying candles, So
Come on, Eddie.
Councilmember Hooker, I
Special one, won't you? The Xterra, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Hooker, I sincerely apologize for the mishap on the, I thought, okay, I'll make sure. Yeah.
Are any of the brew companies, are they working on, like, say, a special Xterra type of brew?
So what's happened is Xterra is actually going to partner with Downshift. They're going to make the first North American beer, Xterra Downshift beer. So it's already benefiting businesses. It's already going to make an impact. They're going to do partnerships. They're going to do different things like that. This event will bring the world to Rito. So that's.
And years ago, that was one of the things on tourism that we were trying to get higher impact. I don't want to say better, but
Quality of
events. And so Eddie's done a wonderful job
Yeah, he
in
has.
putting that together. And then Lodgers Tax loves it, buying off on it. They're very concerned with the budget.
Yeah.
They worked with Judy on making sure they had allocated the funding. But
Who's chairing Lodgers Tax?
That would be Everett Brophy. Yeah. So just to give you kind of an idea about Xterra World Championships, this is the 30th year for Xterra, 2026, the year we have World Championships here. It's been in Maui for 25 years, and then it's been in Mulvane, Italy for the last remaining years. It was going to go to Hong Kong, but we were able to scoop it from Hong Kong, and we got it. It's the first time the Xterra World Championships are coming to mainland United States. And after we're done with it, it goes to Greece. So this is a big deal. It really is.
We got to get that lake going.
well, and that's part of it. But they've seen it. They've been on the
Yeah.
ground,
Yeah.
Sure.
and they're excited. Steve, and then we had a Zoom
Yeah.
meeting with all the big poobahs.
Yep,
You know,
we
it
sure
was
did.
crack of dawn somewhere, and it was nighttime. He was going to dinner and
Yeah.
whatever, but they're all over the place, and they're excited about Ruidoso and coming back to, a lot of these folks that are in this management
Mm-hmm.
are Americans, and they're excited about having an event in USA. That's why
Yeah.
that we're expecting and working with, and we'll be lobbying for funding through the state. And they're going to come on board. So they're excited about it too.
When is our first
August.
increment?
So what they've done is we had an Xterra event booked for this August 15th through the 17th, and what they've done is elevating that event to a point to where it's a goal level event. They're actually talking about bringing out cameras for the goal level event, and
What is the event?
it's an Xterra full triathlon. It's an event where it's mainly a goal level event that would cater.
Money.
Yeah, it's lower money, but this one is more a regional kind of event.
So Eddie, the swim portion, would that be in Grindstone?
Grindstone, yeah. So they do Grindstone for the swim, mountain bike, trail run, and Grindstone around the lake.
Will the Whibbit?
They're going to utilize the Whibbit. They're going to let the Whibbit. They're going to let the Whibbit stay there, and I think they're going to put some branding on it, some Xterra stuff over it. So they're going to utilize it and put it together. So it'll be cool. They're going to have branding all over the place. It'll become like Xterra Village for a couple weeks, and
That's pretty sure.
they got some cool things with it. But it will. Just imagine you got Olympian athletes and the best athletes in the world here going on their social medias talking about how cool this place is. That's going to bring so many eyeballs to the area, and it's going to help.
Getting some professional athletes, the woman that's won it how many times?
Oh, yeah, I
Three.
can't remember her name, but yeah. So they got,
Three-time champion.
yeah, and they have,
They're looking for New Mexico professional athletes, and they think that because it's in the continental United States, that you're going to get tons more people from America coming.
yeah, being it's the first time it's actually in mainland U.S., it's
Their marketing, our marketing, state's marketing, we're getting a lot of bang for that
yes,
buck that we're putting in.
yeah,
When
absolutely.
is the first buck we have to put in? When do we have to do that by?
We've already put in,
2020, well, the first one's coming up for the August event, and that's 60 grand. So that comes up in July of 20. Yeah, comes up in July 2025. We'll do that. And then the rest of the big money comes in for the World Championships and Ironman that comes in at the beginning of 2026.
And then, so we'll have Xterra 2 years in a row,
So we'll have the gold level event, which is coming up 2025.
right?
Then we'll have the World Championships for 3 years.
and then it'll go to Greece.
And then it goes to Greece. But what will happen is if we choose to, we'll be able to have like a U.S. championship or whatever level event we choose to have with them. We'll always have because we're going to have all the trails. All the trails will be marked Xterra World Championship trails. So people could come here any time of the year and ride the World Championship trails.
All right, okay.
So let me understand this more on the swimming part on Grindstone.
Yep.
Will they be using the Whibbit as an obstacle course while they're swimming, or they're just advertising off of it?
Counselor Salas, they're going to just use it as a place to advertise. But it's going to be there. They're looking at putting some branding on it, like Xterra, and doing that, but just leaving it there.
They were
Yeah.
throwing it in on the course
I thought
and
it'd be pretty
saying,
cool
yeah,
myself.
that, hey, you gotta go through this.
I can imagine there'll be pros jumping off of it and having fun. I think they'll have fun on it, but I think they're going to use it as an advertising tool, I
In
think.
addition to all this, we need to work on all the other things the logistics is one of the things
yes.
they're working on.
There's a lot.
And then, food and all these other things, we really need to work with the community to let people know that it's all coming and to be ready.
Yeah.
So people like the munchies, the food trucks and all of that is.
That should
That's gonna be
be
a-
working on. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know how Xterra handles some of that, but
We're working together. They've got a whole team of people that I've been working with, and we've put together more or less like a board. They created kind of a board with Xterra, and there's a lot of work going on with it. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of different things. But it's not just Xterra. We have Ironman too. So Ironman is, as you know, the most popular triathlon in the world. And we have it coming in for 3 years as well, from 2026 to 2028. So we'll have the two biggest triathlons in the world here for 3 years.
And we've got enough lodging.
Yeah, I mean, they've looked at all the
How many
demographics. for that.
rooms do we have?
4,000 short-term rentals, 1,300 hotel rooms, 1,500 RV spaces.
So when you say 8,000 people, where are they going to stay?
A lot of them camp. A lot of them will. Most of it, well, whatever we can do. We're already working on hotels now, like doing room blocks for stuff. So we're already, like when Steve was here, like Steve Andrus was here from Xterra the previous week, we went around to hotels and he was getting stuff done with all the different hotels for room blocks and stuff.
Short-term rentals, Eddie.
Yeah, we're working with Robert Duncan in Lodgers Tax to help us with all the short-term rentals for cabins and, you know, those kind of rentals.
Sure.
Yeah.
A lot of the teams will get a big short-term rental, and they all stay
Okay,
with their people. And
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And then the
When in
surrounding
August
communities.
is this?
August 15th.
So August,
17th.
that's for the gold level event. The World Championships will be the second week of October.
That'd be
Yeah.
beautiful here.
Oh, it'll be perfect timing. Yeah, it'll be great.
That'll be Columbus Day weekend.
Boy, that lake's going to be awful cold.
They wear wetsuits. Yeah, they'll have wetsuits on. Well, yeah, they'll have wetsuits. Any other questions in regards to the outdoor events?
Good job.
Thanks, appreciate it. Okay, moving along to goal number 5, strategic partnerships. Work with local, state, and national entities to develop partnerships with Village of Ruidoso. So I serve as the liaison for Lodgers Tax, Ruidoso Midtown Association, the Ruidoso Valley Chamber of Commerce, and Team Tourism. And we are moving fast forward. So with all these different entities, we've had great success with several events such as Aspen Fest, Midtown Halloween, Christmas Parade. All the different events we're working with our partners on have been all a great success this last year. And we just got a new executive director for RMA, Tim Duckworth, which you've all met, and he's just hitting the ground running and he's doing a great job, and real excited about the things we're going to be able to do with the RMA moving forward. Yeah. And we're working with the Chamber on all these different events, plus with the Roswell Air Show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is the week after Labor Day. And then the week after that is,
Well, a week after that is going to be Xterra World Championship.
Mexico.
Oh, Municipal League. So there's a lot of stuff going on. September's a busy
Actually, a
month.
buttload.
What's the championships? What did you
The
just
New
say?
Mexico League is the
Municipal.
2 weeks
Municipal.
after
Oh,
Labor Day.
yes, yes,
Yeah, the one we did in Clovis.
yes.
We have that coming up. We've been meeting with Mariah and working on that, and we feel pretty good with everything that's going on. Any questions in regards to the strategic partnerships?
Guys, what is general receipt tax? It's on the third line down in your description.
GRT?
The third line down, it says general receipt tax.
And get,
It needs a clerical change.
Oh, clerical change,
You did
okay.
that last time too.
Yeah, you
Giving
got,
you a hard time there.
Councilmember Salas, you have caught me red-handed.
Yes.
It's a special tax.
Yeah, it's GRT, that's what I'm referring to. Gross receipts tax, there you go.
Eddie's tax.
Yeah,
great job, Eddie.
thank you. Thank you. Resources, if possible resources moving forward. I'd put in there a possible village vehicle, if that was something I could possibly get. A lot of times I have groups coming in, and I have large groups, and I'm always borrowing Mike's vehicle to bring people around to all locations or sites. And I know as things move forward, it's going to get really busy. We're going to have a lot of people coming in and out of the village. We're going to be taking them around, and especially movie crews or triathlons or events or whatever it may be. So
Like what? You talking about like a black bus with all the windows on it? You know, like the Zia Trans, but black, they can hold 11 people?
No, Mayor. No. Just like an SUV, a full-size SUV would be great. Like, it could, something that's got four-wheel drive and it has a third seat, so I can pack everyone in. That would be great. It could be, whatever. Something that's. So we're picking up like a bunch of Apple executives from a movie studio. We can put them in, and it's presentable, and it's something that we can.
You have a price tag on it?
It's got floorboards.
It doesn't. Well, my ones I have now all have grates in the back because they're past police vehicles, so it doesn't really work.
Well, if we're
And I was getting electrocuted
if
from
we're
them
going to
too.
do these kinds of things, you do have to look presentable. And
Look at the jacket he's got on. Matches his eyes, his hair. It takes 10 pounds off of him. He knows what he's doing.
Thank you, Mayor.
but we do have to. We do have to present ourselves.
I'm selling the village.
On that pig.
Yeah. Well, it is. I'm selling the village. So when these guys come in, the guys and gals come in, whether it's a big company like Apple or, Iron Man or whoever, I just always want to be able to put our best foot forward and be presentable and have a good presentation. So,
Your reports were very thorough. Good
thank
job.
you. Appreciate that.
So I'm thinking Platinum Expedition from what I read.
I'll take whatever you guys
It'll
want
look
to.
nice, and it'll present nice, and it'll ride nice, and it's got
They
3
make
seats.
that full-size Lincoln Navigator with third row seat.
Oh, gosh, we're going.
Councilmember Eby, thank you.
I would just put together some options.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And with the layout, and then we have to look at how because we don't consider a lot of times until you have that thing in front of us.
Yeah, and whatever you choose, it would be gratefully appreciated. One thing that's not on there that I was gonna just put it out there and see if it's even an opportunity or a possibility is as things are really ramping up and I'm finding myself running thin.
Here it comes, folks.
It's coming right now. Here it comes.
Department's trying to expand. Just watch it.
If I can get an event coordinator / admin, it would really help with the growth that we're doing.
I would encourage you on both the vehicle and that last request
Thank you.
is to try to work maybe with community development, try to see if we can pool resources, because I suspect we're not quite there yet, but on an interim basis, maybe you can work with another group. And
I'll take whatever resources we can get.
Because I know Amber's busy. And
Yeah.
Anthony's busy.
And Mayor and Council, when he does move to the Horton, we do have our forestry department that's housed out of there, so we'll talk to other departments that are there at the Horton.
Great.
And right now
Yeah,
Gina's
let's
been
put
helping.
forestry with
Eddie,
the.
nothing would be greater than for
Yep.
you to be overwhelmed with work, because that means we're gonna be overwhelmed with tourists, so.
Yeah, and the only thing I worry about is not being able to meet deadlines or miss things. That's what I'm worried about the most, because I can see it's already starting to ramp up a lot. And the last thing I want to do is make any errors, because when they work on these big events, it's so critical that things are done as best as possible.
Understood.
Yeah.
I think our challenge as council members is everyone's short-staffed, so how do we
Yeah.
prioritize that?
Yeah, whatever you guys think or suggest, I will gladly take it.
We'll just put it down on a proposal,
Okay,
and then, like Councilor Corey said, you might inquire with Anthony,
okay,
but then things have to be put in a budget form, so that,
okay,
because right now it's just a dream.
yeah, absolutely.
That'll be part of the budget that's starting. It'll just be when
Okay.
you submit your departmental budget, you have items on there you're requesting, and then we'll review all that during the budget process.
Sounds good.
Watch how you stand up too. Oh, your butt did.
Mayor and council members, I don't have anything else. If you have any questions, I'm open to questions.
I would say, put it all in the.
Sign, you're done.
It's a very mature council.
Good job, Eddie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate everything that you do.
No, it's exciting stuff. It's a lot of fun. And if you ever want to go on a Thursday night when he has some of these folks in town, a lot of times it'll be at Casablanca and
Yeah,
listen to music. And then we need to find a place that's a little quieter so you can talk more.
yeah,
But they love the personal feel and the attentiveness that Eddie gives them, and the knowledge of the community and his contacts and all of that. So he does a wonderful job.
thank you. Appreciate it.
So I guess we're going to the Wingfield Heritage House Museum, Stephanie. And no matter how much petitioning I do, we still have the Rewind series that's so short that I get into it, so I wait and string them together.
Did you see the little video on Facebook? It showed the Wingfield House and the exhibits, and there was someone talking, and,
I don't guess so.
yeah, I loved it. It was great. That was good.
Huh, no, I don't
Loved
think
it.
I've seen it. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor and councilors.
Good afternoon.
My name is Stephanie Long. My tactical plan is based off of the strategic plan that we did last year. The Cultural and Natural History Committee and myself and Mike Martinez got together and created a standalone strategic plan for just getting the museum open, kind of break it up into bite-sized pieces, because there's just me. And so I went through the strategic plan that we had done right before we did the tactical plans last year. And we're it was designed to be about a 2 to 3 year plan, and we're about halfway through. So I think we're tracking on to where we want to be. I did bring copies of that plan if anybody wants to look at it. I know you've seen it before. I'm not sure if you have seen it.
No, Stephanie.
Would you like a copy?
Please, thank you.
I even punched holes for your binder.
Thank you very much.
So in that strategic plan, we had set 4 goals. So I set 4 goals in here and kind of pulled out the meat of what was left in the plan to focus on this year. The first goal that we had come up with in the strategic plan was to collect the history of Ruidoso. That's kind of the heart of any museum. The goals are all in the end of the plan there. And we've started to do that. Last year, we set up the database and the way that we bring things in and catalog it and get the kind of control over the collections. So that's going to be an ongoing thing. We're going to keep collecting. It's not something we're going to stop doing. The focus for this year is going to be I think Horton's moving ahead. We're supposed to have off-site storage there. I don't know the ATA on that. I don't know if you know whenever that happens.
So you've got 900 items right now, so where are the others stored?
Oh, everything's stored right now at the museum.
You got them
So-
upstairs, downstairs,
Yeah.
everywhere?
Yeah, well, the stuff on display is downstairs, and we're actually at 1,100 that we've cataloged into Past Perfect. A lot of those are photos and documents that are,
It'll take up a lot of room.
yeah, so,
Stephanie, are you aware of any memorabilia that you'd like to have that you don't?
I should probably make a wish list of things that we're looking for, yeah, I'd love to collect from 1880 to 1960 or anything in between,
And
so.
what about the city of Ruidoso Downs
We're not,
and the museum? Is
the-
there an opportunity there to pick up anything?
from the old
No, from
Hubbard?
the-
I've tried making inroads there, but it's gonna be a miracle if some of that stuff's not damaged.
I know.
And
You know,
we've-
when we were in the building this summer, it's scary.
Yeah, and they have big items, and so we've reached out to them to see if there's a partial loan on something that she's interested in. She's not gonna be interested in a lot of it, but there is some stuff locally.
Yeah,
yeah,
because ours is more Lincoln County.
Yeah,
Yeah. What happened to the gun collection that was at the Hubbard Museum?
I don't know.
They
know
do
what I'm
have a
talking
big
about, Susan?
safe.
I
It
remember,
was Bones Wright's
Yeah.
gun collection, and
I wonder if,
it was in multiple cases down the hallway.
And then, the actor, the Western actor has a rancher on Capitan that died.
Richard Farnsworth.
Farnsworth, his son Diamond, said he has a bunch of memorabilia he'd loan, donate, or whatever. When you get to that point,
Okay. I did tour through the Hubbard with, a staff person from Ruidoso Downs. And a lot of the stuff that, they had to move a lot because of the roof. So there is a lot of stuff that's locked up back. Probably you didn't even know that area was there when you were there for the EOC. So, and they have a pretty large safe, like vault type thing that's probably where the firearms are. I'm not sure, but, there wasn't a lot of interest in giving us stuff or loaning us stuff because they want to reopen at some point, so,
yeah.
that's something that's gonna have to
On the 12th.
percolate
of
through, so,
November.
yeah. So, and then a lot of their stuff isn't local, so.
Yeah.
yeah.
So there would be stuff that we would be interested in, but we'd have to have someone who knew what was there to go in with us, and
Thank you.
so.
And then whenever you want to do some track stuff, we have a lot of
Yeah,
stuff on the
definitely.
history of the track and.
Yeah, and I don't have much of that, so, and once we get the Horton building in, we can look at larger collections of stuff too. Not the whole Horton building, the room in the Horton building. So the other part of the kind of collections management piece that I want to finish up a disaster recovery manual. It's more of like a facilities-based thing, like where the water shut-off is, and if we have a roof leak over a bunch of leather items, what do we need to do to make sure that we stabilize them and that kind of thing. So I've been holding off until we get into the Horton building so I can cover both sites on that, so. Yeah.
Just real quick, what about we still don't have a security system, right? Over there?
We have a security system, but we don't have a camera system.
Oh, we have a security.
We added the alarm system. That's
Yeah, we
been,
do have an alarm system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
that goes off every weekend. I get the call on that. I get every alarm system, let me tell you.
So it is working.
to its effectiveness.
Okay, so it is working. Okay, good.
Yes.
That works, Greg's got
Where
it.
T-Bone over there helps me out. I have to send T-Bone to, I go to one location, send T-Bone to the other, so.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Okay, good. Okay.
And I'm sleeping like a baby.
Well,
The second strategic goal was to create a welcoming place for the community and museum visitors. A lot of the work that I had done this year was just getting the building open, establishing exhibits. getting kind of the physical space open. So what I'm looking at for the next year is getting more people in and dealing with volunteers and events and that kind of stuff. So what you'll see here is more the softer people focused things than the hard.
Like the walk-bys or drive-bys or what?
Getting programs going, getting a volunteer
Educational.
program. Yeah.
Do we have an open sign on that building?
There's an open sign on the actual sign,
Says-
but not
It's
on.
not lit though, is it?
No, it
No.
says-
Well,
We're open,
Yeah.
little bitty.
you mean like a
Well,
little,
Well,
like a
something
neon
when
sign?
you're driving by, because there's a couple of times I drove by that we weren't,
Yeah.
and it looked like we weren't, but we were.
Oh, okay.
You know, just something says open.
Just
one
like
of
a
those
flag or
flags.
something, or
Yeah, or one of those, a big blade fan that we can put out
one of
there.
those guys that goes like this. Or, yeah.
What has the attendance been?
I'm sorry?
Stephanie? What's your foot traffic been?
We haven't been that busy. We've gotten more busy over time, but we're probably, I mean, it's not great. We've been getting maybe a dozen people a week through, so.
Well, baby steps.
But we also opened at the slowest point of the year too, so marketing's gonna be a big push for this year as well.
Do you have brochures?
We do have rat cards now that I got over Christmas and haven't had a chance to get out, but that's on the list for this month is to get them out,
I
so.
think you need some T-shirts and a little Lincoln County badge sheriff. We'll get the sheriff to hand us out a bunch. Give him a little fake gun to give all the kiddos.
Yeah.
But some memorabilia that we could, because they make those little stickers, like that one I
Yeah.
showed the sheriff. It's just a brassy looking when you have a sticker. If you could just hand out something like that to kids and,
With our website on the bottom, handily, yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't even know where we are here. Educate visitors through outreach, media, and in-house education. So we do want to develop more outreach so we can go out to festivals and fairs and have some activities that we can do. I do have a part-time person being funded through the chamber so that I can actually physically leave the building when we're open, which that helps a lot
And that's
for that
part of
sort
our
thing.
program
So,
through the chamber that the village subsidizes and
yeah.
whatever, and that's Lee Baker's wife. What's her first
Yeah,
name?
Jamie.
Jamie.
Yeah.
She does. She's part-time.
Huge help.
Yeah, she-
Because I noticed that you have on here in two places, would be great to have a staff position dedicated to education programs.
Well, I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Well, no, and I agree because it's a lot of hours that y'all are having to put in over there.
Well, my thing, I haven't jumped with both feet into programming education because I know it becomes all consuming. So right now I'm trying to find some things that I can do that I can pull off without working 80 hours a week on it. So that's what we're going to be rolling out this year.
Is there a
so.
way to do an internship, maybe with somebody at the college, or through the RSVP program, or through the school?
I'd be happy to look
Just,
into it.
I mean,
yeah.
some ideas. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just asking because everybody I talk to is interested in the museum.
Uh-huh.
And if we maybe had something available, doesn't necessarily have to be a paid position, or maybe it can be. We just need
Yeah.
to figure out where the money's coming from, but,
Okay.
to see, because I know you need help over there.
I've been told that's a dream, but I thought I'd put it out there. So,
Well, it is only a dream until you write it down.
until I write it down and make it
Right.
happen,
And
so.
then we can work on it.
Yeah, no, but I can look at some alternative ways of finding some help, so. So I am looking at outreach. Carrie's been working on the website and social media. We launched a Facebook page, last week?
No, it was actually right
2 weeks.
after Christmas.
Okay.
Time is traveling.
Huh?
Time's moving in there.
Yeah, it isn't. Well, there was a lot of content that just came in, so that's great. We are looking at doing a longer program on KRUI, more of a kind of coffee talk, roundtable discussion type thing, instead of me blabbing at everybody for.
Well, no, I like your
Yeah.
blabbing. It's just, Yeah, right by the time I'm hooked, that's all, folks.
Yeah.
And then we move on to next week.
On to next week.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do a combination of maybe doing one of those a month, the longer one, and then me continuing to do the shorter ones. The shorter ones are what I can pull off in a week, so.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of preparation, I
Yeah.
understand.
So they're running 5 to 8 minutes usually, so, and we're up to, I think, 43 episodes,
Yeah.
so.
Is it that many?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yep. And then working towards making the museum self-sustainable sometime, maybe in the future through fundraising. We did make huge strides in getting the Friends group established this year. So we now officially have a Friends of the Wingfield
How do you
Heritage
join
House
that?
Museum. So you talk to our lovely Susan Letterman
I
over
mean,
here.
like, do you have a membership deal where people
Well,
pay?
and actually, Mayor, we just got our 501c3, and then we officially have a bank account of $1,000. And how we did that, and I know you had some.
Reservations.
Yes, and
Legal
so what we
questions.
did is, we had our board meeting, and we exited out of that board meeting, and we became the Friends.
But see, you can't do that. When you have a 501c3, the board has to be disassociated from the entity. Yeah, well, because.
You never said anything, nothing has ever been said to us, because we had to have that meeting so that we could even get a 501c3.
Well, I understand that, but that doesn't make it right. And that's the whole point. We wanted to make sure that a 501c3, because we've been through 3 of them, it has to be separate from the governing, the management. So that money that goes into it, and that's what we need to find out for sure. Is it a 501c3 or a 501c3? Yeah, we need to make sure that we're legal on it, because there were some discrepancies. But just in the foundations that we put together, the scholarship programs, we operated that for a while until we got audited, and then they're like, you guys, you can't do that. You have to have it
So
separate.
now what we're doing is, now that we've got everything together, now we're going to get our list from our opening.
Mm-hmm.
And I had several people say, I'd love to be involved.
Well, like your friends group.
To the Friends group.
Yeah, they could
I
be
had-
on the
no,
board.
No, so now that's our goal, is to
That'd be
get
perfect.
our friends, and then our board step away and only be the board.
Yeah, and you're the
And
board,
your
and then
board.
she's the liaison, and she presents to the board of the foundation, the 501. All right, and you probably know about this.
But I'm not a voting member of the board or anything yet.
And then they fund it, once you get money.
Yeah.
Well,
And the goal is,
there's different 501.
Well, that's what I said, C3.
organizations. There's educational, there's membership.
and the goal is to eventually deposit that money with the community foundation and have be hands-off with it, have them manage
Right.
it, so.
Well, it would
Right,
be
that's
nice
what the friends-
if you were to, excuse me, raise money for events and things that you
Special
want to do at
projects
the
and-
museum.
And that's once we get $5,000, then we can take it to Lincoln County Foundation, and they can invest for us. They can put that money, and then we will keep getting money, then we put it in with the foundation.
So, Stephanie, I'm not quite sure where it falls with your goals, but I'm wondering from a curation standpoint, we just went through arguably the worst disaster in our history. Is that an opportunity for maybe you to build a special collection?
Yeah, we call that field collection. It's one of those things that gets forgotten because you're so busy doing other things. But yeah, we've brought it up in our committee that we've been looking up for, collecting photos and that kind of stuff, but.
Collecting photos or oral
We do
Yeah.
have a
histories.
Adobe
from the
The Adobe
people
door,
involved?
one of the Adobe doors. We do have that on display,
Oh, okay.
the Adobe
Okay.
Plaza.
But you understand what I'm talking
No,
about?
Yeah.
absolutely.
No, because now's the time to collect it, not
Yeah,
30 years from
exactly.
now.
Well,
Yeah,
it's fresh in everyone's
Yeah.
memories. and-
yeah. No, it's on the radar, so. Yeah, so I guess we've gone through everything. Does anyone have any questions?
I think get those rack cards out.
Yep.
because The more we
And
can
if you-
spread the news, the better.
If you guys have ideas where we should put them or ideas on marketing, let me know.
I definitely put them in area museums because
Mm-hmm.
that's going to attract people that are into that.
I just ordered a big rack so we could we'll put yours up if you put ours up, so that should come in this week, so.
The chamber still has a rack, doesn't it?
Plus, the board, we were also talking with Stephanie, and, have the cards along with don't feed the animals at the Airbnbs. So, because people are always looking for something to
Something to
do.
do,
And that,
especially if it's free.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it isn't free,
Oh, it isn't?
no.
Oh, how much are we charging to get in? I was totally ignorant of the whole deal. How much are we charging?
It's $5 for adults, $3 for seniors, and children are free, 16 and under. So,
Is that pretty much standard at museums?
yeah, that was mainly based on what was the going rate around here, so. I do want to run some free days and that kind of stuff to create some buzz too, so.
What about frequent ones, like a season pass for Potter?
Yeah, we are going to have, like with our Friends
That's part of the Friends?
It would be a yearly,
Annual
here's my
pass, yeah.
yearly donation, and now I can get into the museum anytime I want.
Yeah. And then start a little donation, where you have a annual fee of $50 or whatever, $100 to help fund your operations, and maybe that's where you get a paid volunteer or something.
I just, Stephanie and Jamie have done such a good job, and, from the point where we bought the building and everything that's had to be done from the ground up, it's been amazing that we're at the point we're at.
But it's nice to go back through the strategic plan, because you always see what you haven't done, you don't see what you have done. So it was nice to go back and check off a bunch of things and see, yeah, we have made progress. So.
Stephanie, have you visited with the school district at all about? having
No,
some
but it's on, we actually just talked about it on
elementary
Friday.
to Have
So,
them come and during the spring, right before school's out, have a bus go out and just do a field trip. I think that'd be
yeah,
awesome.
and do some outreach or that kind of thing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I think they would really like that a lot.
Even to go, we even talked about Stephanie going to a school board meeting with all the principals there in the school board, just to let them know that we have this opportunity for them to have field trips.
That'd be great.
And
That's
also,
some-
I had talked to Stephanie, what this is about from that standpoint, doing a flyer or putting a rack card in the little kids' backpacks, because
Yep.
they don't go through them, the parents do.
Yep.
It's another avenue to, adults and villages.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah.
We need to pick some
And
brands.
I guarantee the community center would be a good resource for that too. A lot of those folks that I go down there and eat the lunch with or whatever, they've heard a little bit, but they haven't ventured.
So I think there's lots of possibilities.
Even the sign carry at by the pool, the digital sign.
Okay,
Stephanie, don't forget the rack at the chamber.
Yeah, they already, they have several hundred I've given them
Oh, all right.
for the Billy the Kid and
Yeah,
theirs, so,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Also, the chamber puts together bags for some of our attendees. At the convention center.
Oh, that's,
Good point.
yes.
Okay,
That's
great,
Great,
okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Okay, Bernadine. Greg, you're on deck. Yep. Loosen up.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Okay, so we will start with the first goal. It's an ongoing goal where we're continuously trying to get new business and bigger groups into the convention center, which I'm always working with, of course, Tracy, who's our sales manager, and with the hotel. And with Eddie, some of the things that he brings to town, we'll need space at the convention center as well. So that's an ongoing thing. We're continuing to work on those things. Of course, we have renewed the contract with MCM for the marketing and sales at the convention center. And like I said, I'm working with Eddie. And then all of us are working together with Mariah for the 2025 New Mexico Municipal League Conference. We had a meeting last week just to kind of go over just the basics of what she's wanting and what our thoughts are as far as that goes. And it went well. I think we're all on the same page, working with Eddie and Matt, T-Bone. Of course, later on, we'll bring in Carrie, Tracy, Steve, Katie, whoever else wants to be involved in that, so that we can try and make it a really great event.
Have
We're
you talked to
excited.
Todd yet? At the golf, Todd Behringer?
No, sir, I have not even met him.
I've
yet,
mentioned
so-
it to, I'll get him to go over. He's
Okay.
here a lot, because we had that penciled in with,
Spoke to him and Jenny has spoken to him.
okay, so we got the right date now? Okay, yeah, he's all in, but, we had to move the date and wanted
Yes.
to make sure he was good.
We've had to move it a couple of times, so.
Well, it's still the weekend after Memorial Day,
Yes,
Labor
it's
Day?
the 15th, September 15th through the 19th.
I think 16th is that Tuesday. I think that's when the
Yes.
golf tournament is on the.
Yes, they come in on Monday to do bags and vendors set up and things like that, because on Tuesday, they do their vendor social, so.
Okay.
And, let's see. So then the next one, of course, is always maintaining the convention center for it to be a desirable location. And the things that we've done so far is in 2024, the roof was replaced and completed. We replaced the carpet in rooms 4, 5, and 6. And we also purchased 200 10-foot tables, 100 round tables, 10 bar tables, a brand-new stage and dance floor, which make it look very, very nice, because all of that furniture was 32 years old. So,
Yeah.
we would also like to purchase 1,500 new banquet chairs. The last time we did that was in 2013. So they're a little worn. Some of them are scratched and stained and things like that. So we'd like to be able to do that. And then back to the resurfacing of the parking lot. Some of the bids that we had come in were one was almost $1 million, one was 1.9 million. There's yes. They are because Steve's is the one who's been working on it since he's in charge of common area through the contract. So, Southwest Asphalt, they did a lower bid, but it's not gonna be to do 2 inches of a resurface.
It's just a spray paint over. We don't want that.
And
That
it's,
didn't last
and it's
any-
100, and that one came out to be 100 and, I think 209,000, hold on just a second.
And that doesn't last 1 year.
Well, that's what happened the last time,
Yeah, they
because
just
that's what
spray
they had
paint.
done, and then.
Just a fog seal over,
They'll go in and fix the cracks, they'll fix the potholes,
Yeah.
and just kind of spray over it black, stripe it, and that's it.
There you go.
Bernadine, any issues on the roof replacement, any leaks or anything?
Yes.
Yes?
Oh, my gosh.
But they've been great. I will say that about J3. Anytime I've ever called them, they've come in. Levi has stepped in. He's been great. So, but so far, the last time that they came, I think they have everything, but I guess we won't know
They
until.
telling
we
you
get
where,
another bid.
is it around the roof penetrations on the curbs for the air conditioning, or?
Some of them are, but they still, when Levi went up with him, he said that they were things that they should have sealed. So they went back in and resealed it, and it seems to be pretty good now, but without, a heavy snow that sits for a while, or us getting a good rainstorm, it's gonna be hard to tell. But the last time they came, I think we got it taken care of.
Is that a flat roof?
Uh-huh. Put that membrane on there and spend a gazillion,
Yeah. But
parking lot on the roof.
So I'm hoping that that'll be the last time that we need to call them, so. So Southwest Asphalt is the other bid that Steve got on the parking lot, and it came out to $966,000.
So my question, who's the one who solicited the bid?
Steve.
Steve from
I
the,
was told to
why
let-
Southwest Asphalt? I was curious. I mean,
Oh, I don't know.
there's some around here we might be able to get much better pricing.
I don't know. He did Southwest Asphalt, and he did, of course, we'd gotten a bid from the village, and it was a lot lower, but those guys are so busy, I can't imagine that they would have
Right.
time to come out and do that. Another one was a lower bid, but it's the same thing, from Desert West out of Roswell.
Okay, they do a whole different process. That's the microsurfacing
Uh-huh.
company?
It is.
I haven't ever seen the micro surfacing. That was when we were gonna do it in Paradise.
Yes, we're gonna do that on Paradise. I mean, but I'd still go out and get some other bids, but.
Okay.
Maybe we can help with that, but the
Yeah.
issue that we're gonna have is it's a third, a third, and a third.
Right.
And I don't know that, whatever
gonna get
Todd's
are we gonna
company's
get-
name, huh?
You're right, it may just be two and not three.
Because he just took this puppy over, and I know Allhub didn't have it.
No.
And, but that's gonna be a pretty big deal for Behringer.
That parking lot is all village land, but the hotel and the golf course are leasing it?
They use it, yes.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, we get a small percentage on the contract on the, not from the Elegante. We don't get anything but lodger's tax.
The Elegantes, so is the hotel parking lot village property?
Yes,
It's all village.
Hotel is on village.
yes, but it's a leasehold improvement type deal where they built the hotel.
Right.
We don't get rent back, we'll just end up getting possession in
Of the
1,000
building.
years.
yes.
Or they sell it like they did this last time. And then we have the convention center, and then of course, we know what's going on with the golf course and that building, then it's a shared parking lot. And then, with all the work that we had in the big trucks over there in the parking lot, that
Yeah.
didn't help the situation.
Oh, no, yeah, they
It was over in front of the Elegante, so we really need to look at this whole process, and we need to get some magic fingers on some
Yeah.
parking lot money
Yeah.
to help the situation out all the way around.
Because we had been given 300,000 this last time, but that's not, I don't know if it's gonna be a third, and a third, or if we're gonna end up having to pay half because of the new person taking.
And then we
on the
haven't
building.
talked to the Elegante about half either, so.
Can we
Yeah.
wait till we get our equipment fired up to do paving?
Won't have time.
Yeah, they're gonna be so busy on those projects, they're really gonna be,
And a 2-inch overlay's quite a bit.
Because then the other bid that he also got was from Mesa Verde, and it was 1.9.
Holy cow.
man.
I know, when I saw
How
the
do you
numbers.
say
come in,
that?
I'm like,
Ron, that ain't the way Ron says Mesa Verde. When he says it, it gets cheaper. Say it.
Mesa Verde.
Mesa Verde. It just got cheaper, Mesa Verde. Okay,
No,
man.
that's,
We'll have
and
to-
they own the hot mix. I
Yeah,
mean,
they own it all.
They have the hot mix plant, so they just,
We
So
need to
perform
we need
those
to
projects.
Work on that bid, yeah.
So that's why it's on my plan
Wow.
again, because the bids came in so high that,
Man,
yeah,
it's scary.
I know. And it hasn't been done since, I don't know, I
I
want to
think
say.
we did a chip seal there, didn't we? Several years back?
We've never done
Well, the
a
last
chip
time they
seal.
did it was in I think Steve said 2014.
Yes.
And
Did a
that's
chip
when they
seal.
just filled in the cracks and everything.
Yeah.
And like the mayor said, it doesn't last long. I
No.
mean, it was
No.
falling apart, like not even
Turn the
a year
parking, you
later.
turn your wheels, you just go into the,
Yep,
And it looks terrible.
yep. There's some areas that look really bad.
That are really bad. So, that's on my plan again, because the bids did come in so high. And, let's see, the next one is what Michael wanted to call our RCC refresh. So the stucco on the convention center it's really, really starting to fall apart. We also have some birds that have made their nests at the back of the building, up high.
Oh, yeah.
So we have that issue as well. So then, of course, the rock was part of the remodel that we did in 2009, and a lot of the rocks are just, if they
Falling
fall
off.
from up high, they just fall into pieces. If it's parts that we can, put back on. I do have the staff do that, but, so we're talking about like re-stucco, repaint, and redo the rock.
You have to get bids for that.
Yes.
I can tell you, there's stucco good ones are hard to find. I've got a couple of names here locally of good ones.
Okay.
I got a whole list of bad ones, so.
Okay, I'll stay away from
But
those.
that's one of those things that they gotta cut it out and do it right, so it doesn't come right back off.
And on the bird issues, get with Matt and T-Bone because they're having bird issues at Horton also.
Oh, okay, so they're the bird experts?
I don't know. That's-
Well, White Mountain,
Nice.
White Mountain School has always
Oh.
had terrible bird issues.
Yes,
They
this
get
one
up
is so
underneath
bad.
High school, they get up underneath and make all their.
All the
nests.
droppings. Yeah. Then
It's
all the
awful.
droppings are everywhere.
You can't walk on the sidewalk. It's a mess.
I knew that was coming.
What was it?
Can't walk on the sidewalk
Oh, well.
without a big hat.
Well, I
One
was
you can
thinking
throw
about
away.
walking on it.
She's more about stepping in it.
Oh, well, getting it out of your hair and eyes isn't good either.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last one that I have is, Michael would of course love to do a convention expansion on that north side of the building between the convention center and the hotel where they were supposed to
Years ago.
initially build a restaurant. So he had me put that in here, and he wants us to research the state convention center hotel options because there's I guess there's a tax that you can add, and I guess he said that's what was done in order to build this convention
Right.
center. So he
And,
wants to.
and we
look
could
at
do that. We have room to do that.
With connecting the motel
Well, our
with
building
it.
out towards, but keep in mind, Behringer and those guys are wanting to build on the east side of the golf, in between the
north
golf and the north that way, but on the east side of the golf pro shop.
Yeah.
Between it and the hotel, that area right there, that's where
Yep.
they'd like to put a restaurant bar. But from everything we've seen, if we had another big room,
Yeah, that would
Does the
just,
hotel have any meeting rooms itself?
one,
yeah.
they knocked out as you go in, go left, two rooms,
Oh,
they
yeah,
combined
I've
into
been in
one.
that one.
So
Is
yes,
there
they
any
do
way
have
we
one.
could get them to partner?
Well, I think that, that Michael had mentioned that as well, is to also discuss with.
And I
them
have
see
talked
what
to
we can-
John, when Tracy and I were up there seeing, when her father was in the hospital, I went by and saw John and Ed, the two owners. And they've divested of some other hotels and then purchased the other ones, but this is their number one hotel. if you can believe it.
Really?
Revenue, it's been full, and we all know why. So I've been asking about refurbishing it, getting rid of those big hot tubs, those big jacuzzi tubs, getting something more, because of my input from Scott Maynard last night, I want to make sure I push that. And then about what can we do to expand the other direction to offer, because they're so full at the convention center, and what can we do how do we better serve, what kind of a room do we need? And that would be a whole nother research. So we have talked to him, and he didn't run and hide. And he just got rid of the ice skating rink that I put in for him 22 years ago and put in a roller rink. And said that was the best decision he's made. So if you're talking to a guy that put in a roller rink is the best decision he's made, we got a shot.
Michael did mention that with that tax, it would also, some money could go towards them refurbishing the hotel as well, so that might be a good incentive to get them.
Well, we need to get
partner
that
with
together
us.
and we'll schedule, and they'll come to town anytime we ask them.
And with a lot of different conventions or whatnot, workshops, there's a lot of entities that are not hosting anymore. It would just increase the villages, so to get more use out of it.
That's all I've got.
Well, Bernadine, you've got a showplace over there. That's
Thank you, I appreciate it.
always so proud.
Minus the birds
For people to see it.
Yeah, the
People
rock
come in that
spot
haven't ever been here
Meteor
before and
showers.
are always just amazed. They're like, it's beautiful,
Well, the
and they also
artwork
can't believe that it's 32 years old, so.
And the fireplace.
And we still, back to when they had the, what was it, the regional wrestling tournament?
Oh, my goodness.
3,000 people in there.
That was terrible.
I could not believe it when I
No,
walked
that
over there.
was- Wasn't that They did cage fights out there once, didn't they?
Yeah, we were talking about
No,
That
this
Jamie.
was
is-
a long time ago. That was a disaster.
This was like Little League in high school.
It was
This is
wrestling
league, yeah.
Jamie Urban and his
Yes.
wife and them put on
It
that
was
one, and
February
we
of last
got
year.
hammered.
A couple years ago, and I was like, I couldn't believe it, the number of people there.
He said, don't worry, we won't come back here again, and if we do, we'll limit teams.
Yeah.
Well, and who said that? The wrestlers?
No, Urban,
Oh, yeah.
Jamie.
And then Joe's lobbying for the Bulldog Convention.
The Bulldog?
Yeah, they're wanting to come back. Did you see that?
What's a Bulldog?
Bulldogs.
Oh, real
Big pit bulldogs.
We had one that we said, yeah, we denied
No,
it.
not fights. They're like,
We went from cage fighting to bulldogs, so it just was logical.
no, it's big bulldogs, like parolees and bulldogs or whatever, but no, Bernadine said, no, and they called me and I was like, because I love dogs. And I'm like, a dog show? What's wrong with a dog show? And then they were showing me, it's like,
Yeah,
just pits?
They had spikes on and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
No, we're
they're-
not doing
I'm
that.
sure they're big old babies. The only concern that I've got is, doesn't Luis get ready to retire pretty soon?
So he has been eligible for 3 years, or almost 4, because it'll be 29 years in April
Oh, my
for
gosh.
Luis. He talks about going 30, but here lately, he's been like, well, I'm like, well, if you decide that's what you want to do, we need to know as soon as possible.
Like 6
And-
months in advance.
Yes, and that's what I told him. So his plan is to go 30, so that's just another year.
Okay, what about David?
David, he's been there, it'll be 18 years in April as well. But I have 25 in June,
Yeah, it's Bernadine that we're worried about.
even though you didn't ask.
Well, no, I knew that was happening. And then Ethan's the new guy, Rhonda's the new gal.
Yes,
I can't believe you've been there for 25 years.
me either.
Bernadine worked with me at the bank.
A long time ago.
Okay,
Anything else for me?
nope.
Okay,
Great
thank you.
job.
Thank you.
Just try to get us some idea, and we'll try to see if we can't get some other quotes on paving.
Yes, I will.
'Cause that's, those, whew.
If we can come up with something else to give Steve, because he's ready to go on this $109,000 deal. He's like, I'm ready to just go on this, and I said, well, we're a part of it, so you have to wait until
won't
they get out
last.
to everyone, so.
I mean, it's a matter of
And he knows
months.
it too, but I think he's getting
Just
ready to
doing so-
retire as well, so. I need it to last 1 year.
And what's not gonna be retired, Ron, is me and Joe, I think. All right. Okay, team, excuse me, Greg. Yeah, you're ready.
Good afternoon,
Hi, Greg.
Mayor and Council. Here with the radio station on the strategic plan, just continuing kind of hoping for FM, and that's going to be further on in here. The organization and radio station assigning roles. I say we, it's me. I've got Andrew Solons is trained, pretty well can cover everything at the station if I'm out. He does have a thorough understanding of the operations of it. He knows if it goes off the air, the steps to get it back on at the tower site. We go up there routinely to check on items. The software program to do the logs and all of that, he understands how to, that has to be uploaded every day to get this, so we have music and logs the next day. So he's got a good understanding of that. So when I'm out, he's always there as a backup. Looking into, this is kind of going towards the FM side. One of the goals for this year is sales. We're looking at it outside. I've been in contact with Nick Nance as far as for contracting out some sales. And this is in coordination with MTD Radio. He works with Will Rooney, and we've had some contacts with him. Actually, was talking to him yesterday. So,
Greg, who is this?
Nick Nance, he's a sales associate with MTD Radio.
Okay.
So the FM, which is further on in here, is it has become free. We've got an opportunity for 99.1. Will Rooney's purchased the Walton stations. So with that purchase, MTD Radio's frequency 99.1 is redundant. So we're hoping that we can work something out there. Hasn't been any openings with SEC as far as a new site. And this is actually probably the best opportunity and least expensive, or at least the most economical way to do FM.
Is FCC, are they?
They just haven't, there hasn't been any.
They're not giving
frequencies,
licenses.
But I
Available.
mean, they're okay with,
Yeah.
with just one game in town?
No, that's why he's having divest, and we have the opportunity to get 99.1. And we're looking at a possible monthly lease between 15 and 2,000.
Yeah, 15 to 2,000.
And then Nick Nance would possibly, and that's what, I haven't talked to him yet, but what we
Yeah,
talked to
I
him
sent
about
you the
is
contact information.
commission-only type sales.
So do we have any idea of what the listenership is?
The numbers I have or can get are online. So we have a metrics for who's actively listening online. As far as over the air, there's no real way of knowing who's in their car, who's at home listening to the radio without, people calling in. But as far as online metrics, I have that. And for example, during the fire, we learned that our maximum online listenership
Every
is
day.
200 because we were maxing
We
that
were
out
maxed
on
out.
every live show or broadcast.
So, Greg, do you have any gut feel for what the?
My gut is on, especially on, say, the Monday with the Mayor, that's the most popular show. And it averages online 50 to 60 people during a kind of a non-emergency type situation, just an every week deal. And my gut tells me you can multiply that probably into 2 to 3 who are people listening on a radio or in their car and what have you. So
And that's
that
not-
show
and
probably
that's-
generates a couple hundred, 300 people.
And that's not counting the playback.
What's
No.
that?
That's not counting the people that listen to it.
No, that would be, the on-air and
Live.
combined.
Okay. Are we prohibited as a municipality from selling ads?
Nope.
No.
And we're not set
Yeah,
up
we're
as
not
a
a
municipality.
nonprofit. We are for-profit as
We're
far as the radio
for-profit.
station.
That's the
Okay,
way that-
so we've got some opportunity there?
Yes.
Yeah, and we have two annual clients. ENMU Ruidoso is an annual advertiser as well as the DUI. Those are monetary.
And
Everything
then
else.
I've been contacted before, but I'm not disciplined enough to go for a break or shut down at 10 o'clock or whatever. So we've never taken any
Right.
on. I don't feel like I, was biased or whatever. But the rest of the time, we've had people that have wanted to, companies said, when you get ready to advertise, let me know.
And we've had several, last year, for example, the Under the Mountain Sky radio program, we had a realtor sponsored that show. So that was an advertising revenue that came in. We had a glass, the Art Glass Institute, I believe is the gentleman's name, actually was in my old business building, Stereo by Design on Carrizo Canyon Road. He ran an advertisement for his open house. That was generated, I brought that in from the Chamber of Commerce's show, Chamber Chat. I, entered it, and so we ran an ad there. So there's been a few ads, but we're looking to expand that with FM. When you get in your car, most people, if you're listening for radio, you're going to tune to FM. And that's going to give, and it's also a better signal.
And that's one reason we haven't really forced this, because we wanted a good product. And with 99.1, we'll
Right.
have a much better clarity and reach.
Yeah, and the tower is, the signals originated on Buck Mountain, so you've got the natural elevation is going to give you, good coverage.
Sure.
It's still low power transmitter, so it's not like 101.5 or 93.5 as far as power goes, because it is a translator. It's not a full power FM, but it will cover city.
Would it go like through Mescalero?
Off towards Mescalero, I know Round Mountain is an area you can get it. And it generally does better heading south than it does, kind of heading east and north. Yeah, Mescalero, I couldn't guarantee, that type of coverage. Same with KRUI. I don't have an actual map. I can get it of the coverage area for 99.1, but that is something I can get. That gives you
It's
the
changing
idea.
to KRUI over in Lincoln. You know, we were over there one day and listening to it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it just
I
depends.
can't get it in my car,
Right.
and I can't get it at my home, but then I listen on my phone.
Right.
And when we're in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
I tune in to
Well,
the mayor.
we've got people in Europe that tune in every show.
We've been getting more in South America. I've been
Yeah.
seeing quite a few during your show on Mondays.
But if I could get it in my car,
Oh, yeah.
I would have it
That's it.
in my car the whole time.
And we
I
want to
just
get it
can't
where the
get it.
local businesses, it's got a good enough, where we do play music, but that we have local shows that people are interested in.
Right.
I think if we could get FM, I think we
And
would
it
see
looks really good. I can't, I mean, it's not done. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with Will Rooney this morning. So everything on his side, you know.
Ready to go?
He's ready to go. And it's one of those things that it's virtually flipping a switch. There shouldn't be any equipment needed. If there is, it's minimal, which would just be a internet-based to transmit,
Well, we
to get
need
the
to get
signal
a-
up to Buck.
Contract and make an offer and
So-
then we can start, after and get Nick engaged and
Right.
What do we do with the AM then?
keep it.
No, the AM is the primary, and you have to have the AM in order to have the translator. So,
Okay, so you keep
exactly,
it
it's a
on.
translator, not a full-blown FM station.
So it's simulcast?
It'll simulcast, it'll be whatever's airing on, over the air on 99.1 will be simulcast on, I'm sorry, on 1490, simulcast on 99.1.
Okay.
Next on the list is marketing strategies, kind of what we talked about with, we've got the annual ones that are current, the ENMU, which is $720 a quarter, DWI programs, $300 a month. Those are annual, so that money's coming in all the time. And then with the expansion, hopefully to the FM side, growing those numbers quite a bit. PSAs, I'm doing those constantly for not just village events, but for any type of events that come in. I get, emails all the time. We're big with Humane Society. I'm their voice. And we make sure we get the PSAs that I record, we send to the other local radio stations. So that information is out all the way around.
That's great.
Social media, all the shows we do, we upload, try to get the shows up the same day that they air. Some days we might miss it, but generally we get them to Carrion.
So I know
They're
your
real good.
flagship program is Monday with the mayor.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that one. But you have Chamber Chat.
Chamber Chat.
You have.
We've got the Rudosa Rewind, the
Rewind.
weekly series with the Wingfield House. Trad Tidwell, he does a Let's Talk Music program. I'm not sure that's going to continue being weekly. It hasn't been actually for the past month. He's just so busy. And it's all, he donates his time and all of that. So I think we're going to do that to about a once a month, just so we have a consistency on it.
But there's one more in there.
The weekend preview with the Parks and Rec, they do every other Thursday.
But then I thought ENMU was doing one.
ENMU does about once a quarter. They tried to do it once a week. Now they do it about once a semester, twice a semester if something's coming up. But we do the promotions for their Feed Your Brain program and that, any promotions they need, we're there for them. They do a lot with the Chamber of Commerce. So if the Chamber needs a guest, they'll have, Ashley Roberts or somebody from the ENMU will come on and do it in their show. But they don't have a show per se. Now, we have talked in the past with Robin at the college about possibly doing something with students. That just hasn't panned out, but the opportunity, it's there.
And we've talked in the past about working with NIMI and other universities that have programs that are canned, that's part of their degree program, that we could do that. But we have to preview some of them, see how they fit. A lot of them, ENMU, we've talked to them out of Portales.
Right.
And then some businesses in the past have approached me about, real estate show. Another one was.
We had the gentleman from the bank was talking about a financial show,
Yeah.
which we had been in talks, and that kind of just fell. A lot of it depends on the host.
Right.
And you got to have the host come in and do the show. But yeah, we have the hours of the day are available. I mean, we don't, I'm not going to throw somebody on at 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. It doesn't make sense. But usually a morning show, 8 o'clock in the morning is a good time for a talk show. Weekends are, I try to do noon on a Saturday is a good opportunity. But yeah, generating any shows that are local.
Yeah, soap show.
Thinking about it, yeah.
You do a,
Make your own soap. with
you do your,
Aaron
Soap
Hooker.
talk. Soap talk.
you do a great job.
And all the shows we do for comfort factor, most people aren't radio. So other than the mayor show, everything's in the can, or recorded. One, I can edit it down, take out the flubs and all that, but it's also easier for a host because you're not sitting there, oh no, I'm live, and just let it go. And, if you mess up something, I'll take it completely out. You never even know I took
You
it out.
trust the mayor
Well, that's what I'm saying.
live?
I ride his button pretty close sometimes.
That's why we listen, just for the entertainment.
Sometimes,
Oh, my
sometimes
gosh.
I wonder about signal drops sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm always checking on air, but you can get away with a lot of stuff that's online that you can't with on air, so.
Yeah, I've talked to Duckworth before, and we'll get Eddie, and that's the movie line or whatever, that maybe he could integrate that into what's going on, and then,
And that's on the next one, the integrating the radio program. I've actually been in talks with Eddie. We're hoping to continue the Under a Mountain Sky radio program, which was a great fit, I think, with the concert, because we promoted that artist the hour before the actual concert.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we're looking to continue that. I've been talking with Bradshaw. We're not 100% sure Phil's going to be able to do every show, but Bradshaw is on board to continue hosting that program. And then I was talking to Eddie about, possibly developing some shows with the Xterra events coming in. And
I
that.
hope that one day we've got the live remotes figured out.
Well, it's not, it can happen. The problem is the number of people, because you need somebody in studio,
Yeah.
ideally, and then somebody, a talent on the
Remember,
field.
like,
so.
working with Parks and Rec, they had the cell phone
Yeah.
deal, that if there's an event that another person that doesn't necessarily have to be in the radio could be out there doing interviews, or somebody, just whatever.
In an event, we can record, anybody with an iPhone or an Android phone, you can record an interview, send it to the studio, and it's just, relatively quick edit to throw. It doesn't have to be live to be, within 10 minutes. It's just like when I do a PSA on a flood or
Yeah, I was
the
just
fires.
telling you, and you're just doing it.
It's easier to record it, then you can put that in multiple spots in the log.
Well, I was just thinking about, one day out at the park off Country Club, you see the table set up and the little pop-up, and then you have a microphone and
Right.
that where you could interview people, or that we could help with Pack the Bus or whatever, if Keith Lee's not ever doing
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
or
Live.
some of those things that, like out the Humane Society, when they're doing an event, that we could be there and interview people as they're coming in and out. And I still would like to be able to do a podcast one day where we have just a camera tied into the internet, which should be very simple to do.
Right. And when you say, podcast, I go, podcast is audio, you're talking more of a video, YouTube type deal. And that, like with the mayor show, if we had the cameras set up, not so much live, but, posted after the fact. And it's just a matter of, I can look into the camera setup, where to locate it in the studio so they're, it's not obtrusive.
Because people want to know what Adam looks like.
Yeah.
No, I
Exactly.
think that would be fun to
See
see.
When they're
that
calling
live.
twinkle toes, they got no idea what.
Yeah. But that's
Keep saying
that's
Fred
the
Flintstone.
great thing about radio, is it's just your voice. Nobody knows who you are until you open your mouth.
See, they always said I had the face for radio.
I know, exactly. It's ideal.
Now you know, now you know.
They continue, like I said, the main focus, we got the FM on here, and we're in good talks with that, so.
We should just lock that down. in
Yeah,
this week or so.
it's Will Rooney, like I said, with him purchasing the Walton stations, and he's had to do some manipulating, not, I say manipulating, bad word, but 99.1, he's transferring over a different ownership, so it's not a conflict with rules of FCC as far as a monopoly.
And we've ran this by our attorney, I forgot what his name is.
Yeah.
The one in
yeah,
Washington DC.
Drawing a blank.
Tepper Law.
Yeah.
And it would still be KRU?
Yeah, it would just be 99.1.
Mountain.
So I would have to, as far as on my side on the radio, we would change, like my legal IDs, it would have, translating on 99.1 in the full. It'd just be another thing I would add at the end of a spot.
Why, I've always wondered this, right before we have the mayor program, the nice woman's voice comes on and says,
That's the legal ID.
okay, but why did they say Ruidoso Downs?
Because
That's where the
that's where
antennas
the tower, that's where it's licensed. It's a license in Ruidoso Downs.
I'm always like, this is Rizzo's.
Yeah.
Okay,
And that's why throughout the hour, you'll hear others where it says KRUI Ruidoso.
right,
But at the top of the hour, that's the legal licensing.
okay,
And that would be the same with 99.1.
okay. I'll take it.
Okay.
I think that like Stephanie had mentioned in hers about the possibility of doing a long form, kind of a coffee talk, a round table type conversation. So we've been talking about something else, and that'd be like more than likely a once a month, a Saturday type show, promote it and get, community members come in and talk about what it was like, 50, 60 years ago in
Yeah.
Ruidoso.
Yeah, that's what, kind of like Bill used to do.
Exactly, and that's, we had talked about that, and
Yeah.
Bill was great about reading the excerpts from the diary and all of that, and so,
Yeah.
yeah. And all of those would all be available online at any time. And then continuing the Ruidoso Rewind segments,
Yeah.
which I know the mayor enjoys, and I enjoy them too. I've been here for 30-plus years, and it's amazing what she's come up with, and, the one thing I want to know, and I've been getting on her, is those wooden the old wooden signs for the street addresses. I just wonder where they all went.
Some people stole them.
What's that?
Some people stole them that
Yeah.
they were going to be.
I know Barnett Harley had a whole bunch of them out there for years.
Who did?
Barnett Harley.
Oh, really?
When they switched to the metal signs, Barnett Harley's whole out front was the old Ruidoso wooden poles.
Barnett Harley Davidson
Back when I bought my bike, they were out there.
in El Paso.
Yep. So I don't know if they have, and I'd mentioned that to Stephanie, because I said, that'd be neat in the museum, but
And see, I don't remember all I remember is, you go down
Yeah.
the road and then you turn at that big tree with the rock.
They were 4x4s. They were 4x4s.
yeah, the 4x4 posts.
Oh, Post.
Yeah, just stuck in the side. I used to deliver pizza, trying to find those
Street
signs.
signs, so on
Yep.
one side it would say Hall, and on the
Uh-huh.
other side it'd say Warrior or whatever it was, and that'd be on the side of the road.
I do know.
Yeah, they were all out in front of Barnett, and they've remodeled since, but, yeah, it's one thing I remember when I moved out here.
They stole them.
But I think the only other thing, one that we're looking at is, find it on here, I want to have for like emergencies, like with the fire. We never lost power at the studio, but in a, worst case scenario, I'm trying to figure out a way to develop a basic studio at the transmitter site. So if we have power at the transmitter site, even if we don't have internet, we're broadcasting on the stick because we've got that up, but having an actual studio, not a big studio, but, basically a computer, microphone, so we can, continue the broadcast from 1490.
A remote.
Does that have to be at the transmitter?
It would, well, I'm just thinking for absolute worst case scenario, because it's all in one location.
Connectivity, he can sit there underneath that tower and hardwire into
Right.
it, and then be able to pump
To
out
broadcast
information.
out. And I could right now with a laptop, but, it would be ideal, and we're not looking at, a lot of money.
Well, we're
It would just
getting
be
Eddie a Suburban, so maybe
Yeah.
you could.
Put
Set something up.
Well,
in the
Eddie,
back
I'm
seat.
Mobile, it'd be not only Eddie's, it could be Eddie's mobile sound
We're
system.
gonna put in for a Cadillac Escalade then.
Yeah.
So we can keep up with the Cadillac.
Gee, man. Hey, man, sorry, don't mind that stuff in the back. I gotta
Yeah,
go do a little DJ rapping here for a while.
But anyway, that's one thing I've been thinking
sheesh.
for emergency type situation is having,
Yeah.
There is the ability now, no, there isn't, because we don't have the backup power. But then we wouldn't be dependent on internet, so if internet would go down, as long as we got a generator that we can power the transmitter on, have lights and a studio, we can broadcast, because it's all right
It's
there.
not a big generator.
No, and I know I looked into it with the engineer last year. I've got an email on that as far as what he had suggested power-wise and cost-wise. I don't have that information though right in front of me.
Yeah, that's, where are the towers at?
It's pretty Rick.
I drove Greg with it at 3 a.m. during the fire, and
Towns
it's,
up the hill.
yes, you go,
Aquafria.
it's by the housing there where
Oh,
the,
yeah.
where the, they have the,
Inspiration Heights.
yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And just so you know, that drive is easy compared if we get the 99-1 going up Buck Mountain.
Okay.
So, but the nice thing with Buck Mountain and 99-1 is it's not a full, there's not, a huge transmitter. It's almost runs itself, and it's also in the existing building with MTD radio. So KIDX 96.7, they all broadcast from that same. So our engineers are part owners of MTD with Will Rooney. So if we need to get up there, like right now, you couldn't get there just with the little snow that's up there. You're not driving up there. You
No,
need a
you'd have to
snowcat.
ask P&M to snowcat you. Huh?
I've been in that P&M snow. It's a nice snowcat.
Yeah.
Better than the DOT one.
Yeah.
Also, Greg also manages the speakers, the Midtown speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna ask that. So
Greg.
do we broadcast from the radio on the
No, the
speakers? or
Midtown
that's a
speakers are
different-
actually a subscription. And the reason we've gone that way versus broadcasting KRUI is for royalties. So we pay, and that's through Parks and Rec, that monthly fee. So then we don't have to worry about, ASCAP, BMI, all the royalties for the Midtown speakers.
Cause that's where I was thinking you could plug in a advertisement or an announcement of an event going on.
And I do that, like during the Under a Mountain Sky, I promoted, because I have limited, control, like I can say every 20 songs and I could put a PSA in there, which I do
So
have.
that's what I was.
Yeah,
getting
I've got like a Discover Ruidoso PSA runs like every 20 songs. During the Under a Mountain Sky, I would do every 20 songs, I'd have a promo for the artist that was playing at Wingfield Park, and then I'd play one of their songs. So I have that type of ability.
Okay.
And we could, and that's something I was actually speaking with Nick, if it works out for the sales. He was talking about possibly using that as a sales, and that's an option. That would be something that Nick would be willing to, go to Midtown businesses and find the ones who are not unhappy with the speakers and say, hey, we want to advertise on it. And so there's that ability if we wanted to go down that route. I don't know how much advertising we want to have on a background music type system, but there is that
I've only
option.
heard good things about the speakers.
What's that?
I've only heard good things.
Only? Yeah, I get the ones that say it's way too loud.
I get a few calls not to have the speaker on, so Greg will shut the speakers off, so.
Really?
Oh, my gosh, I love it. I love going down the road and people, they're doing this and you can't, and then you roll down your window and they're
Yeah,
dancing. to
I go
the
through every
speakers.
day
I
during my
love
lunch. I
that.
make sure I head through Midtown, make sure the speakers are going, because I can see, I have control at the studio. We have a laptop that's in the Eagle, where the restrooms are up in the attic. That's where the laptop is. So I've got control of that laptop from the studio. So I make sure they're on, and then when I go for lunch, I just drive by with the windows
Love
down,
it.
make sure that they are singing.
Yeah.
Greg, I thought that, if I recall right, that when the Midtown speakers was brought to us, that each speaker, the volume could be controlled individually.
I can control and I do have several poles that the businesses that are directly out in front of a business that they have complained, and I've got those turned down lower.
So you don't have to shut down the system.
Yeah, we don't have to shut. I think we got one, the one in front of the Axe
WPS
is the only one that's completely shut down. Everything else is
out there
weeded.
going, and it does get.
Right.
But see, the whole thing is if they were really to invest, besides bands, because that's one of the things, that's why we're not supposed to put them on our speakers. That's why at the racetrack, I can't broadcast radio signals out there because ASCAP, BMI, all them come and hit you per seat, and they want to charge for it. Well, Mike, when they're playing, they're just playing off a personal Spotify account.
Yeah.
And so really that ends, but that's his problem if he gets caught.
Yeah, no, if they go in, you know, and it just takes one person from ASCAP to go into a restaurant, for example, that's playing, even KRUI broadcasting in a restaurant, the restaurant then would be liable for the ASCAP fees, whereas with the Midtown speakers, we pay for it's called cloud music, I believe is what it is. And it's like Pandora, but we're paying them, they pay the ASCAP fees. So we don't have those fees to worry about on the
And I got
Midtown
busted.
speakers.
I had DirecTV at the restaurant, and on all the TVs I had, and then on busy days, I just flip it to DirecTV Music.
Yep.
And I was paying on a commercial account, but they changed up the way they license things, and I didn't even know about it. And they sent me bills for $15,000, and then it take me
And
to
there's so
court.
many of them.
I mean, they're ran by the mafia, I damn sure
Yeah, they
know.
are.
And finally, we just like, to hell with you. We hired an attorney, and
You can play royalty-free music, which, like YouTube channels, a lot that have music on YouTube, most of those are royalty-free music, and that, you can just play those, and there's
What
no
is that?
problem. So that it's free use
I
music.
know, but is that just people that
It's usually nothing it's
wanna
not gonna
listen
be
to?
popular music.
Well, you can play it all you want to, but you
Yeah,
really
exactly.
don't listen to it.
It's your background beats and that type of stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it's free.
Okay, anything else for Greg?
Programming, the music selection, is it, yeah, I know we have contemporary, and that's a
Adult
full
contemporary.
package, right?
Right.
That you
Yeah,
can't-
we're
so
soft-
you
it's
can't
called soft
change it
AC.
up to like the Guy Lombardo hour on Saturday afternoon.
We've had a lot of requests.
I can do whatever.
There's like different, and for me, or the comments I get, because when the college used to have the radio set, well, Harvey T.
Right.
On Sunday afternoon, it was, I call it the Mexican, music, and they had it for the afternoon, 4 hours of just Spanish music
Right.
playing and stuff, so I didn't know if that was still an option.
It is with the you can do pretty much any format you want. You want to stay within a reason so people, aren't, listening to country 1 hour and then your Spanish music the next hour. I mean, you do want to have a consistent path, but a specialty show for sure. It's kind of like Trad's
Right,
Let's Talk
right.
Music format. It's not soft AC. He's playing a lot of blues, a lot of
There's
country.
requests for country music on the weekends. So, I mean, is that possible,
If the-
Friday,
yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, that it'd
Yeah,
be
he can
just
If there's,
formatted country
exactly, yeah, it's
music?
something, we, especially if we get a salesperson and we want to do a specialty show, sell that show to an advertiser, we can put it on there. It's just a matter of, having the music to put it on. The music, LRN is the company we use that actually does the DJs and all the stuff that's on KRUI. So we have soft AC music. I don't have a bank of Spanish music. So we would have to purchase music or see if LRN, it's something we could get through them.
Or you can come to
You know,
my
using
house
that
on a
as an
weekend and
example.
just record what they're playing next door.
Well,
With the live, satellite guy over there.
But yeah, as far as any music format within reason, I mean, you don't want to have, somebody may want it, death metal playing at midnight on Saturday. You can do that, but I wouldn't suggest that on our radio station.
He's put together mixtapes for me that we've had at different things. And I gave him a list of a bunch of songs I like, and he puts them down.
That list was unique. There were good songs on it. I only took a handful off.
Yeah, I wanted to send them that, It's Always Christmas in New Mexico song to play that during the holidays.
Yeah,
so.
send it to me. I mean, something like that, a local, and I've played Flying J music, for example.
Yeah,
I've got their CD, and I'll put, that, I can throw that in KRUI's log. It fits the log, especially during Christmas, because that last week of Christmas, it's Christmas music. So yeah, throw that in there.
When you do the Under the Mountain Sky, some of the artists,
Oh,
and different
they're-
ones, you played their music
Yeah.
before.
That was good, too.
Really good, and it opens my eyes even to some of that. You know, Bradshaw and Phil, they had a good lineup that they
And
brought
Jet
in.
Black on some of his music, man,
Yeah.
that guy's come a long ways.
Right.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you, Greg.
Great job.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, Carrie.
Carrie. Thank you.
For anyone that's trying to stay awake, this will put you right over the edge.
Go on. The latest numbers are showing that, what we've got going right now.
Slide number 23.
Okay, good afternoon. As far as our purpose statement goes, it stayed the same, but we did go in and we added the words recovery and resilience, just so that, you know, it applies to this year.
Yep.
So the first goal, determine the direct impact of lodger's tax and VOR-funded events to our lodger's tax collections through strategic analysis. And again, that's an ongoing one. We use the Buxton analytic tool to track that. I will tell you that we are going to look at if there's a better alternative to that, because we've had some hiccups in that where we don't get, from situational awareness, it doesn't match what we're seeing there sometimes. Like when there's an event at the convention center doesn't show on the heat map. It shows in White Mountain Meadows. Now, it took us quite some time to figure that out with Buxton, like saying, hey, there was nothing going on in White Mountain Meadows other than what goes on every day, but we did have something going here. And then the thing that has happened recently that has made us think that we want to look to see what else is out there is that obviously it's, you know, it doesn't count individual people, it counts phones. And so we were looking for Lodgers Tax Committee to see, you know, like where we were right before the fires, during the fires, and then up to now. And when we got the heat maps during the week evacuation, I mean, I know there were a lot of people, a lot of first responders in town, but the heat map, it sounds like a bad thing to say, the heat map was hotter than it had ever been. And there was nobody in town. You're, you know, a lot less people. So, and we asked them about that, and they did not have an answer for us.
Is it because of the heat?
Well, that's what I said. That's why it sounds like a bad thing to
Carrie,
say.
this is Buxton you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And we had a
We
meeting.
used to have good luck with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They couldn't answer it. We were like, we know there were a lot of people, a lot of first responders, and we know there were people that stayed behind. But
Yeah.
there should have been a big gap.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna look into that, but that obviously drives this first goal a lot, to be able to, you know, look at that and see, yes, we did have a lot of people. And I think that with the new short-term rental platform, we can get a lot of information that way as far as occupancy. And then I'm gonna beat my favorite dead horse again I really think we need to put back on the lodger's tax submission each month. And maybe we don't have to make it required, but for lodgers to give us their occupancy rates so that we can figure out between that and between Alex's new software, that will give us a fantastic look at actual heads and beds, which is what we want for lodger's tax reporting purposes.
We used to get a lot of pushback on that because various lodgers didn't want their competitors to know what their.
Right. And I understand that, but I'm wondering if.
I don't understand that.
I know that was the reasoning, but what I wonder is if we educate them on, we're not trying to get in your business. That's not what we want. We want.
Steve had told me there's a commercial group that kind of collects occupancy data, and they present it blindly, so you can't dig in and say, oh, Elegante had 80% occupancy. Have you talked to him about that?
You know what, we've actually talked to several of those services that do that, and the issue is that they focus on chains and franchises. So most of all
Are not
small
chains, yeah.
are not. And so, because we thought, well, let's just get, let's subscribe to the Star Report and.
Yeah,
and-
Star is
yeah.
the one I was thinking.
And it absolutely would not work for us, and it's not cheap.
Yeah.
So if it's not gonna really work. So, I think if we talk to the lodgers about why we wanna do this, we wanna do it so that when the New Mexico Tourism Department asks us,
Sure.
what are occupancy rates, so when they're determining what they're gonna give us for co-op,
Exactly.
now we're like, we don't have a
our
tool
fair
that
share.
tracks that.
Well, and we
have-
can't even get, like, how much on the lodger's tax, and then, like, you're gonna ask her about delinquencies, or somebody you're gonna ask, but that, it's hard, we only do that on randoms, that to see if they've paid actual amounts and,
So, Carrie, what is the overall feeling the lodgers have right now? Are they optimistic? Are they still?
I think they're getting more optimistic, than I think with each month that goes by and with, when we saw the crowds that we had over Thanksgiving.
Right.
And over Christmas. And now that we're still, ramping up into spring break, I think everybody is feeling more hopeful that, then by the time we get to Memorial Day weekend and the track is open, that, things will pick up.
What kind of feedback have you gotten on the marketing, the specific marketing exercises targeting the recovery and?
Everyone has been very positive about that. They like the messaging. They say it's working. Since the fire, we've reallocated some of our budget we've doubled our social advertising budget each month, and our numbers are through the roof on that. And so, I think we've got the actual data too on how many people we're reaching. And when over Christmas, I was talking to a lot of the Midtown businesses and stuff, and they were like, holy cow, there's so many people in town.
Yeah.
So,
Have we fully tapped into that 125,000 state gave us?
it's going right now.
It's
We
incoming.
started, it came online right at the end of August, and we have it going for 6 months. So,
And years ago, lodger's tax had they called it a special fund for emergencies. Do they still have that? If so, are you utilizing it?
that would be a question for Judy. I mean, we've only pulled from our usual line items, so, and we've got
Okay.
2. So I don't know if stuff has been pulled.
But
from-
anytime that we've gone into it where we've had whatever, and you've gone back to do a special whatever, they just go into their fund and, like Ruidoso later.
Right.
You did that, there was no special
Right.
contingency
Well,
fund.
It was kind of like our cash reserves. We, it's all in the same pool, but they were kind
Well, and we learned a lot that you can't save the money.
Yeah.
You got to spend it. And that was one of the things when I was on Lodgers Tax years ago, what's her name? Cindy.
Cindy Clay.
Cindy, she said, we have buckets, and then we don't ever spend this money. Well, then we found out you're not supposed to do that.
can't have buckets.
Yeah, you can
2
hold
years,
it.
and then you got to spend it.
And the mayor alluded to, and I've asked the question of the finance group, and I'll ask it of you, do we have a sense of delinquencies on lodger's tax?
I do not, that's
Is
not
that something, Alex, you can get a hold of?
Judy can
Well, I
answer.
asked Judy
Oh, she
last
did?
week, she pointed me to
Okay.
Alex, but my concern is, as some of you may recall, years ago, we had lodgers getting so far in
Yes.
arrears, they could not get caught back up.
Right.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you can get in arrears.
Because
They collect it and spend it.
voluntarily submit
And they don't
the
submit.
receipts.
They don't reflect, but.
They don't submit them to the state, they submit them.
To us, and as long as I was on there, and even all this time, we've only had one that we took to court.
Yeah.
And then they're no longer in business. Now we got new ownership, and they're changing it from Motel 6 to Hampton.
Hampton, was it Hampton? I
They're
think so.
remodeling it right now as we speak, but that was the only, no, it wasn't the Motel 6, it was the other
It
one.
was the one,
It was-
the Best Western?
But-
Also Mountain Inn.
Lodge,
Mountain
used
Inn.
to be Holiday Inn, et
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Zach's the one that worked on that one.
Yeah, we took them to court, and
And that's why I asked, because until being told we had to sue them, we didn't know we had a lodger so far in arrears. So the good news is everyone's feeling optimistic.
I think so. I believe from the conversations that I've had with various lodgers and businesses, that that's the feeling.
And according to Drew at Elevate, he's gonna totally remodel by Iron Man, I think is what
Yeah,
he
I
said.
think.
Is he gonna pick a flag up or keep it?
No, he's doing the same
He's a
thing.
choice. He's a Choice Hotel.
Is he Choice?
He's
Is
part
he?
of a, he's part of a franchise.
Is Elevate their lower end or?
No, Elevate, it's Elevate by Choice Hotels.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can, in that franchise, you can have your own.
I never knew that.
And then, just to finish up on that point, we have streamlined over the last 2 years the lodger's tax application request into, where I think it's easier for people. We have an online form. We tell them exactly what to submit. We tell them what they can and can't use the funds for. We have all the information in one spot. And then they can also submit for reimbursement there as well. So, we'll continue to work with the Lodgers Tax Board on any other ideas or suggestions if something is bumpy to them. But I think we're in a good spot right now.
And Mike is the vice chair.
Mike
Cheney.
Cheney.
Oh, WPS.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that before I move? The second goal is to understand the assets and attractions that drive key segments of our tourism economy and better understand how we can serve those assets and attractions. And that's just a lot of, again, it's an ongoing goal that we have. And it's just to, constantly be engaged in conversations with our local assets and places that we know people go. What are you seeing? How, is there anything we can do? Like Flying J will say, oh, we've got this coming up. And so we'll switch out a board in El Paso and Albuquerque to reflect whatever that event is. So we've got a lot of flexibility with how we can respond to these attractions, and I think they appreciate it. They appreciate getting asked, what, is there anything we can do to help you out? The next goal, use analytics to determine performance of our statewide competition and identify new potential audience growth. Again, that's something we do. If you all remember the deep dive we did a couple of years ago doing the marketing plan, and we continue to do that. We have a list of, like-minded destinations, and we do that on a monthly basis, just going in, looking, seeing what Breckenridge is doing, what Aspen's doing, what the Flagstaff ski area is doing. So that is ongoing, and we'll never stop monitoring that. It's just a must. The next thing is have a digital strategy in place to increase brand awareness of the village of Ruidoso as a vacation destination. And this is, again, ongoing. It's where we tie in all of the numbers that we track monthly on social media. And I'm not going to go through each one of these because I know you guys can all read. But I am just going to point out that obviously because of what happened, our social growth was monstrous. And so, you take the good with the bad. So we have at the end of, we wanted to increase our following by 10%. And at the end of 2024, we had increased it by 53%. And we had over 230,000 followers. And this is just for tourism. This is not the municipal side. And you can see that continue as you go through here. We wanted to increase engagement by 10%. We increased it by 137%. We had over 3.2 million engagements, which is huge. And then we wanted to increase traffic from our social media, driving people to our website, because that's how you can gauge engagement. Like if you post something, is it getting people to take the next step? And our goal was to increase that by 20%, and we increased it by 87%. So, and as I arranged or went in and made changes to these to set the goals for next year, I was thinking like, what's the best way to do this? Because we've had such a huge jump that to say we're going to have a 10%, or, we're going to have that same increase is not realistic. So I kept it at, 10 and 20%. And then at the end of the year, if we have a nice quiet year where we just do good news, we've marked where we were at in December and where we were on June 17th.
Yeah.
And we can make the balance that way of, we can get a real number.
Okay, makes sense.
And then the next goal is develop a digital strategy, a PR strategy, and a public information strategy to increase brand awareness of the village of Ruidoso as a municipality and government entity that ensures timely distribution of information to residents on the local and regional media. So now we're switching from tourism. This is the municipal side of things. And you can go through there and again, you can look at the numbers and the increases that we saw, and they're huge. Like, engagement, likes, shares, mentions, we saw an increase of 667%. So, we were putting it out and people were doing what they needed to do with it. And so I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And then.
You've done a phenomenal job in communication.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of, and I know some of you don't do social media, but I'm so proud when I get in there and see all the proactive announcements. Thanks to you, thanks to the radio station. Our citizens, there's no excuse for them if they're saying they're not aware of things, because
Are you proud of how I hold my tongue?
most of the
Carrie.
most of the time, Carrie. Once in a while you slip up.
Once in a while I do.
And I'm like, yeah.
So good.
Oh, yeah. Over Christmas, my son was home and I said, okay, I can't take it anymore. And I showed him a response that I had done and he goes, Mother, which is, you're bad then. Mother, get that off there now. I'm like, dang it. And the final thing is, or the last two things. One thing we had was the timely distribution of VOR-related information in emergency situations. And that's been in there ever since we started doing these. I think we proved that my team can do that. And
Absolutely.
we can be a good distribution point. And then the last thing is just touching on the Ruidoso Insider. The 42nd edition is on the press right now. And, I think that the community has really come to like that and appreciate it. And if something happens and one doesn't show up, we hear about it in someone's box.
I think
So-
that's the most, the Insider is what's talked about the most. We just love it. Thank you for all the information.
Yeah.
Mayor.
No, people do love that, and in
Yeah.
fact, the new owner of the newspaper thinks that we're in competition with him. He keeps
Well,
saying,
Yeah.
we're not competing, are we? But no, I think that is instrumental in so much goodwill in the community. I believe that people understand what we're trying to do and that we're being proactive, and so they go along with us
Yeah.
on so many different things. I have a question about how are we going to tie in with Xterra this year on dual or some sort of comprehensive marketing program where we're getting the synergy tied together on all of this, and then if we're able to also be ready for the airplane races. You know, so are we reaching out with the state and being able to tie into some of that? So we are a destination or what do you call it, a neighbor, where the people that want to go to the races will come here to stay.
Right, right.
A bedroom, whatever you call it.
Yeah, and we are working with, through the co-op program on that specifically. And then as far as Xterra, as you know, you were on that meeting that we had the other day that was all the,
Oh, everybody,
all the
yeah.
people. And then my team was at Trends yesterday, which is the New Mexico Hospitality Association. They have 2 conferences a year, and Trends was yesterday. And so, my people were there, and talking to Aaron Ladd and Lansing, you know, they're, as you alluded to, they're in Eddie's presentation, the state is really on board with this, and they are, you know, wanting to help in any way they can. And so we're all going to get together, and like Lansing, in a separate conversation I had with him, he's like, you know, I want to sit down, I want my team to sit with your team, and we need to talk about all the things, all the ways that we may not be thinking about, that we can get this funded and advertised, and, you know, by doing different things through the co-op program plus some other options. So there's constant communication there. And then with Eddie and Steve and then me with the marketing group, I think we're gonna make the announcements March 1st about the World Championships coming after this event. And then we had put together for when Steve was here, kind of a comprehensive social schedule that he was like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys have thought this through. He's like, we go into other communities and they're like, well, who's gonna do this? So I feel good about where we're at, and I think it's gonna be a fun project to work on.
As it relates to special events and Eddie's work, are you all on the same page at the same time? You're talking to Eddie, he's talking to you.
Yes,
Are you reaching out to lodgers tax and getting their
yes,
blessing and?
we are. And,
Okay.
and
So
there-
that's all kind of behind the scenes and we're not aware of that.
Right. But there is, you know, that constant communication and with the state. And now that the meeting that we had the other day, that was the initial meeting of that big group. And now we'll be doing that on a, you know, like probably weekly, bi-weekly basis from here on in.
Yeah.
So,
They do tie in, like at the lodgers tax meeting monthly, and then they'll do Zooms, and so that most everybody, and now that we've got Tim Duckworth, he's engaged, he's at all the meetings, so he can pass that on to his RMA board. So people are really, you know, working together on it.
yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Carrie, can you just give an update on the signage for outside
Yes.
Village Hall?
We have new signage that's almost complete to replace these lovely antiquated wooden ones out here. And those are going to be delivered and installed next week. I'll have an exact date.
Allegedly.
By the
Checks in
end
the
of
mail.
this week, yeah. So,
I've been asking to just cut them down, get rid of them now, or back 2 years ago.
it kills me whenever we're on the
It's just there
news for
because,
something.
yeah,
And that's the
exactly,
first
and
thing they
that's the
show.
thing, Because we do have the village administration on the other side tied in with the library this way. I mean,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that that's finally being replaced.
Yeah.
So they have two signboards that'll be going on. They'll have the electricity, they'll be lit, and then we're getting parks and, they're painted today, the frames. Did they take off the wooden part? Not Okay, just if they can take the wooden part off too, and then we'll get an electrician to go in there.
And last night, when I was leaving the State of the Village, the light on that side that faces this way works.
Okay.
The light on this side going that way doesn't.
So, okay.
So it's just that one.
Okay.
And maybe it's a light bulb. Maybe it's not even,
I don't think it ever worked.
I don't know, I've never seen them lit,
Spotlight,
so.
I never.
because it does from, if you're coming that way,
Coming this,
but,
down the hill.
so. Any other questions?
Great job.
Thank you.
Now, wake up.
Alex, come on down.
Can we take a little bit of?
Sure. Can you give us 5 minutes?
Party, stretch.
Yeah, my watch goes off, says stand up.
This is like the
Well, the longer we go today, the
Shorter we go.
shorter we go
I
tomorrow.
think we're leaving tomorrow. Are we leaving tomorrow? I can't remember. I have to find out.
Oh, no, you cannot leave tomorrow.
No, I mean, as soon as this is over, we're supposed to go to Albuquerque, or Anaheim. Rick?
Rick's information, said to jump on it like. So, I talked to Mark, he said,
Oh, where you been? Why ain't you been in here?
Well, Rick said we'll do it, but then we